Pounds in the Kitchener Rangers. That starts at the odd tonight. And of course, you got the Spitfires and the Firebirds right here coming up next. We'll get ready to drop it, and we'll introduce everybody coming up on the OHL tonight on your TV, brought to you by St. Clair College.
Builds a wall around you that doesn't let you see where you're going, that keeps you feeling isolated and alone, that makes you feel hopeless. Know this: we are here to help if you want us to. It's never too early or too late to ask for help with a drinking problem. Alcoholics Anonymous, there is a way out. For more information, visit aa.org and download the Meeting Guide app.
Hi, my name is Kieran Fay. If you are interested or would like to learn more about how TV productions work, I highly recommend volunteering with us.
Watch your TV on the go. Cogeco customers can now enjoy local programming online. Simply log into your Cogeco account on cogeco.ca. Click on Your TV and start streaming. Your TV is truly local, exclusively on Cogeco.
Maybe you've heard that the only people who shop at Habitat Restore are contractors. But actually, many of our customers are homeowners or renters, DIY enthusiasts, treasure hunters, or anyone looking for that great deal on a unique find.
When you get together with friends and family, remember to ride. Reduce impaired driving everywhere. Because ride starts with you. It starts with a designated driver. And in the kitchen, when you offer guests non-alcoholic drinks. When you call a friend to come and pick you up. And at the corner when you catch the last bus. In the driveway with a simple, "Keys please." Or in the living room when you decide to stay overnight. However you ride, thanks for doing your part to keep our roads safe. A message from Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
YourTV.tv is our online home. Find videos, our broadcast schedule, community events, and how you can get involved in your local channel. Visit YourTV.tv. We are truly local.
We are looking for good neighbors in our very own backyard. On Plugged In, we celebrate wonderful people doing great things in our community all the time. Now we're creating a Good Neighbor Award. You can check out more information on YourTV.tv, and winners will receive some prizes and a certificate of recognition.
We are cleared for takeoff in round number 2 of the Western Conference semifinal. Windsor Spitfires, Flint Firebirds. Let's meet Mason Vicari. 4 wins in the first round. Played every minute of that sweep against the Owen Sound attack. His goals against average at .75. Sparkling leads the Ontario Hockey League. A .974 save percentage leads the Ontario Hockey League. And a shutout, which puts him tied for second. His off-season training partner is Joe Costanzo. A couple of overage goaltenders will be the spotlight this playoff. And it is Joe who also played all 4 games in every single minute in the win against Guelph. His goals against 1.25 puts him second. His save percentage is sparkling 9.5 or .952. also puts him at second. He as well had a shutout in the first round. Both backup goaltenders have yet to play a playoff minute. Mason Corville for the Flint Firebirds and Michael Newlove for the Windsor Spitfires. Top line against top line to start it off with the captain Nathan Aspinall on the wing. Jimmy Lombardi, the LA Kings draft pick at center. Darian Anderson on the right side. Ryan Fellinger, the Maple Leaf pick. And Dryden Allen committed to Michigan State next season on defense. The Spitfires start with Jack Nesbitt from the Philadelphia Flyers. Anthony Cristoforo, the defenseman, converted to a forward. And Liam Greentree, a Rangers trade earlier this year. On defense, Andrew Robinson, Wyatt Kennedy, and here we go. And what's expected to be a hard-fought second-round series as Greentree dishes back to the point. Robinson lofts one in, knocked down by Nesbitt in front. Good evening and welcome to it. It's Chris McLeod flying solo in the booth here tonight in game number 1 as Aspinall carries it in over the line. Drops through Lombardi. Lombardi trying to get an early shot, directs it to the front of the net, doesn't connect. Here come the Spitfires back the other way. Greentree punched it a little too far ahead. Broken up by Oljanski. And McLaughlin, fresh off the bench, will get into a scrum in front of the Flint bench, and they both get a change in 40 seconds in. I want to get everyone on the ice and feeling it here. It's been a long time off for both sides. James Paul rimmed around and gets by Fibiger. 7 points in the first round. Villeneuve will carry to center. And a high stick. That's Battaglia getting the stick up when the Spitfires a minute 4 in. And it looks like we got some blood. And that's going to be multiple minors for Jacob Battaglia. And the Spitfires will get an early start here on the power play. Let's take a look at it through center as Battaglia. A little help there from Johnny McLaughlin lifting the stick of Battaglia. And it goes up into Villeneuve's face. Well, not the conventional high stick, but a 4-minute minor, double minor to Battaglia. The Spitfires go to work on the power play in the playoffs, 26.7, 7th overall amongst the teams. Back to the middle. Here's Fibiger. Moves it for Woodall. Down low quickly. It's Cristoforo trying to slip one in the short side. Trying to clear there. Another chance. Spitfires collapse and keep it in, but now this time the pass back will miss and heads out. Spitfires second overall in the regular season of the power play. Can't get anything started here as Cristoforo sends it back. Woodall will start back in his zone. 85.7% success rate for Paul Flash of the Flint Firebirds, 7th in the regular season. Carrying it over the line is Greentree. Greentree will hold on and circle behind the net. Sending it to the middle into the pads. Vicari, and the rebound knocked away. Fibiger rims it back for Greentree. Spitfires set up. They've got a double minor to work with and a high shot over top of the net. Woodall chasing it down, and now they split the D and set it down the ice as the Firebirds will hustle to the bench, and the Spitfires will also get a wholesale change in here. Minute 2 into this power play. Aspinall and Thibodeau come over the boards. Defensively for the Firebirds. Here's Villeneuve, took that high stick, threw some blood. Now Spellacy with speed trying to send it back to the middle. Spellacy directs it to the front of the net. Garden was waiting, and they couldn't get it in on goal, and now they hold it in at the line. Garden onto the wing. Ferran rolling puck. Spitfires knock it down, and now they rim it around and out of the reach of Robinson. He's going to have to exit the zone. Forced back by Thibodeau. The Birds will get a quick change in here. A couple defensemen hustle to the bench. Heads up, be careful. Thibodeau lifted the stick. He and Cunningham with shorthanded goals in the first round for the Firebirds. Robinson couldn't get anything started there. Tessier knocked it down to the Spitfires. Will hold it in, turn it right back. Here's Garden, shot, scores! Ethan Garden sneaks one under the bar, and the Spitfires take flight first. What a start for the Spits. What a play by Ethan Garden at the line. And the Spitfires are up 1-0. Ethan Garden, who had himself a game in Game 4 as he sold it there at the blue line, and looks like it might have went off a stick and directed up over the shoulder of Vicari, and that'll give the Spitfires a 1-0 lead, an unassisted goal for Ethan Garden, the second-year forward for the Spitfires. That's the first shot in on goal. They're going to count anyway, and it beats Vicari about 3 minutes in. And they get that top unit back on the ice. It's Greentree off onto the wing, diving, tries to get it over to Cristoforo. It's taken away in Lombardi, who was a finalist for one of the most sportsmanlike players in the Ontario Hockey League this year. Ended up going to Cole Bodwin today, but Lombardi was a nominee. Greentree sends it to the far side for Fibiger. Back for Greentree. Spitfire fans getting into it. In for Woodall. His shot high on Vicari. He makes a save. Fellinger trying to get control. It's going to get knocked down. Now Anderson heads up as Lombardi had a lane to the net. And once it didn't connect, he changed quickly. Puck sent in. Greentree chasing after it in behind the goal. Spits up 1-0. Nesbitt for Greentree. Centering Spellacy coming down the lane. Clearing attempt knocked down. Spellacy cycles it back. Here's Ferrand. Moves it to the middle. Takes it on the backhand for Robinson. Back to Ferrand. Tees one up. Didn't get all of it. Knocked down now Kostov, who had a shorty here and a win for the Firebirds. Late in the season as Kevin Heat takes a bump from Robinson. Just the 2 shots on net. One of them goes in on Vicari. And 24 seconds left in the double minor for high sticking to Battaglia. Knocked down, and it's Ferrand trying to get by his man. Fellinger slowed him up, and that should just about do it as the puck comes out with about 10 seconds left of the power play. And what you'll see is one of these players that don't get to play on special teams start to get in as Cole Davis drives to the net. Vicari kicks out that right pad to make the save. 5 minutes in, the Spitfires with some good early jump. Battaglia out of the box now. Moves it onto the wing for Aspinall. He'll hammer it in. Directing traffic, Joe Costanzo. Jonathan Brown, one of 2 Spitfires without a point in the first round. Beck Sultan McKeish the other. He only played 2 games, was injured in the second. Sent towards the middle. Battaglia knocked it down. And a good stick there by Davis just to keep it in for Yuljanski to skate it out. And now Thibodeau leaves for Aspinall. Aspinall cycles it back to the front of the net. Loose puck there. Costanzo makes the stop from the slide. Up along the wall. Davis. Bumped by Thibodeau. Yuljanski at the point. Lifted over his head, and the Spitfires will force him back. James Paul first on it. Taking a hit from Johnny McLaughlin in on the forecheck. Yuljanski, the lead pass onto the tape of Smith. Smith drops back and taken away. It's Robinson. Lone man rush, waiting for some help. Right side, stops, has a look. Sends it towards the net. McLaughlin was in the vicinity. Chipped up the wall, sent back in, loose in front. Spitfires will score! Max Brocklehurst in his second ever playoff game, and the Spitfires go up 2-0. Brocklehurst sneaking in behind the defense, and the Spitfires take the lead in game 1. Yuljanski, I think that puck was exiting the zone, comes right back in, staying with it. Max Brocklehurst pokes it home. Spending most of the season with LaSalle. That's got to be a good start for him. Got into games 3 and 4 in Guelph. And he starts it off here tonight with the second goal for the Spitfires. Four shots to 1 in the early going. We're 6.5 minutes in. Kennedy up the wall. Held in by the Firebirds. He'll dump it right back in. Costanzo out to play it. Wants to feel that rubber. He's only gotten 1 shot so far. Came from in tight. Off the glove and into the Spitfire bench. Spitfires take a 2-0 lead. It is the OHL Tonight, your TV. Brought to you by St. Clair College.
backed away from him. Centered in front, Marner! Scores! Holy mackerel, what a move!
Paul Flash, the head coach of the Flint Firebirds, led them to an all-time best 96-point and a record 44 wins this season. Second in the West, right in behind the Windsor Spitfires, a point back. They had the Western Conference best record on the road. They won 22, lost 9, 1-2 when playing away from the Dork. And the Firebirds trailing here 2-0. Him along with Greg Walters, Dave Cameron, Dylan Smoskowitz, Jussi Ahokas, all up, nominated for the Matt Layden Trophy OHL Coach of the Year. Just another one of the storylines we got in this series. Spitfires, an early 2-0 lead here. Goals in the early going from Ethan Garden and Max Brocklehurst. Robinson and Games will pick up assists on the Brocklehurst goal. There's a shot wide of the net. Kennedy back in behind the net, centering, trying to find Lombardi. Here's Anderson. He's headed to Clarkson next season. Anderson comes off the wall back for Allen. He'll just direct it to an empty corner. Nesbitt trying to get back on it first. Chops it along. Left there. Anderson in front of the net. And that just missed. How did it just miss? Lombardi alone in front. Right at the top of the crease. It looked like he had a gimme. Kennedy off the skate. Wiljanski. Chased back by Greentree. Here's Aspinall. Outlet for Anderson. And Kennedy will punch it out towards the Spitfire bench. Here's Greentree, the captain. 7 points in the first round. Puck ahead, tipped in by Spellacy. Paul back on it first. There's Johnny McLaughlin. This is his type of hockey. He's certainly excelling here. Woodall pinches, moves it to the slot. Here's McLaughlin. Drops for Villeneuve. Villeneuve tosses one over to Woodall. Just puts it to the front of the net. No sticks there for the Spits. And now Kevin He, the captain of the Ice Dogs, will send it in. And Thibodeau hot on the trail of Fibiger. Puck left there. Thibodeau gets it out of the corner. McLaughlin trying to get body position. Now Battaglia. The Spitfires will also be keeping a close eye on him as he leads the Ontario Hockey League in playoff scoring with 15 points in the first 4 games. Graziano knocked out. Spitfires just get it out. They need a change. McLaughlin and Spellacy will get to the bench as Harvey and Garden hop over. Garden on the far side just knifes it out of the zone. Urban Pondrikar now far side dump in. Fibiger working against He. It's Garden in behind the net. Fibiger takes it away. Puck comes out to center and a penalty coming up. Another one to the Firebirds. 11:09 left in the first. And David Figueira. Looks like another high stick here as they're going to have a look at Ethan Garden. And in the box is Kevin He. It looks like just the 2. We'll see what they put up on the board. Yes, just the single minor. The Spitfires already got a power play goal in this one and an early 2-0 lead. The Firebirds will have to defend once again. I said Max Brocklehurst's first playoff goal. He did get one in that big 11-3 victory. So make me dash one in the early going here. Nick is off tonight, so I'll have to inform him of my mistake in the early going, but the Spitfires will take it. Ethan Garden scores his 3rd of the playoffs, and the Spitfires in flight. Brocklehurst follows it up just over 3 minutes later, 3:20 later. Fibiger looking down low. Puck is loose. Bakari had to make another save, and it's sent down the ice. 2 high-sticking penalties in this first. Battaglia with a double minor, and now the single minor to Kevin He. Fibiger is going to carry it in over the line. Sends it back in behind the net, rimmed around, waiting for it, Cristoforo. Anderson breaks it up first. Now Anthony sends it to the middle. It's going to find his way to Greentree. He was cocked and ready, and it just rolled off the stick. And Lombardi will pounce on a loose puck, and he'll take a little skate and kill some time on this penalty. Pondrikar, he'll play a ton of minutes tonight for Paul Flash. Uh-oh, look out, it's Kostov. Kostov, shot, Costanzo down, and he spreads out and sucks it in, and Kostov goes right to the front of the net. First real good chance there by the Flint Firebirds. Short-handed. Kostov coming in on his off wing. Good busy crowd here tonight. Feeling it. 5,100 plus as you see Kostov found that loose puck. And he almost snuck one through the wickets. Joe comes out to the top of the crease, and here as he falls back, you'll see it right there. He closes the leg, and Lombardi and Kostov right on top, hoping for something to squeak out. Robinson off the draw. We'll send it back for Villeneuve. We're coming up to the halfway mark here of the first. Onto the wing. Sent back now Villeneuve. Carries the mail out to the line, and now Spellici dumps it in the far corner. Graziano gets there first. Turning, can't clear Robinson. Move down the wall for Garden. And now Villeneuve back to Robinson. Moves it to the middle. His confidence with the puck has just grown leaps and bounds here over the last half of the season. He's got an assist in this one. Here's Ferran, top of the circle, looks down low. It's Spellici. Spellici trying to get it back in front. Goes off a stick and up and out of play. 2-0 Spitfires in this second round playoff series. One of 3 games around the Ontario Hockey League tonight. Brantford's already played 1. This is game 2 against North Bay tonight. No score in Brantford, and Kitchener at the Sioux, which should be a real good matchup in itself, is opening their series at the Auditorium, and no score there. The only goals tonight you've seen right here on your TV. 30 seconds left in the power play. Back for Ponderkar. He'll rim it around. Green Tree got a stick on it. Here's Nesbitt back to Liam, the captain. This wrist shot goes wide. Loose puck bounces to the front of the net. Fellinger chasing it down. Nesbitt pokes it back to the corner. Woodall working down low below the goal line. Sends it back for Green Tree onto the wing for Fibiger. He's got a good look. Fibiger looking in front. And now Green Tree hustling back to the point. Penalty's over. Back to 5-on-5. Spitfires 1 for 3. Heads up. Fibiger just gets it off. He felt the pressure from behind. And the Spitfires have to backtrack quickly. Aspinall back on the offense. Drops off for Lombardi. Lombardi back to Aspinall off a stick. Back to the point for Paul. Near side, Iljanski. Tipped in front. Kicked away on an easy save by Costanzo. Back for Paul. He lofts one in front of the goal. Knocked down Spitfires. Bumped there, and Iljanski will bat it right back in. Comes around for Lombardi. LA Kings draft pick and signed. Blockered by Costanzo. Bounces high in the slot. Spitfires there. And they will attempt to clear. Now they get it out. Cristoforo. Not a whole lot of room to work with. Gets it back to his defenseman. And they'll get the change in. 8:19 left in the first. Woodall's long dump. Gloved by Vicari. Here's Dryden Allen. Thibodeau takes a bump from Walton. And down low was Cole Davis putting the body on his man. Got the fans going and behind the play. Davis bumped from behind. Caden Harvey. Poked off his stick by Aspinall, and it's Walton. Rimmed around, waiting for it near side is Brown. Down low for Harvey, trying to move it to the middle off a skate. And the Spitfires keep it in momentarily. It does slide out. While falling, McLaughlin bats it back in. And now, over skating it there, they'll get set up. And it's Pazzi. He's going to get in offside. Justin Noble with the whistle. So we've got Christopher Thibodeau down right at the entrance to the bench. And he is having a hard time. Can't even make it to 2 feet to get into the bench. That was in behind the play. And finally the trainer will come out, give Thibodeau some attention here. Battled injuries all season. Originally a Kingston draft pick. Just trying to get to his skates here. Looks like might have gotten the corner of the door here. So they're in the midst of a change. McLaughlin will... Oh, yeah, that door opened up. Nothing dirty about it. Just unfortunate that that door opened. And there you can see right in the back. That's a stinger for Thibodeau. Yeah, he's going to battle to get to his feet. It's always a scary situation. He's going to go down the far end. Looks like he's going to go right down to the room. You can brace yourself along the boards, but when that door opens up, yeah, that hurts. 7.5 to go here in this one. Spitfires and the Flint Firebirds, for just the second time ever these two franchises meet in the OHL Playoffs. The only other time was 2022 in the Western Conference Final that the Spitfires won here on home ice. It was 4-0 final in that one. Dan D'Amico went off in that Game 7. Spitfires ended up going to the OHL Final, that one from an angle, and ended up losing in 7 to the, at the time, Hamilton Bulldogs. Team coached by Mark Savard at the time. Graziano back to Podrikar. 7:05 to go in the first. Spits up 2-0. Brocklehurst is on the ice. He's got his second playoff goal, and Ethan Garden is third to open the scoring tonight. Kennedy back to the line, held in by Kostov. No, it's not, as Justin Noble has to make a quick call again. Your officials for tonight's game: Damon Figueroa, who's already had a couple of high stick calls go against the Firebirds. Pat Myers, 14-year OHL veteran official. On the lines, Justin Noble, his 7th year, and Adam Burnett, his 4th year, working the lines in the Ontario Hockey League. As you heard a cheer here in the arena as they saluted Ilya Protas, a Spitfire last season, led the team in scoring, made his NHL debut earlier this week for the Washington Capitals. Started on a line, what a start, with his brother Alexei Protas, and then a guy named Alexander Ovechkin. You may recognize that. On the other side, Ilya ended up with the assist in a victory over the Maple Leafs. Allen bumped Aspinall near corner. Sends it rink wide, a hot pass, knocked down Anderson. It'll find its way to Lombardi. Chased by Garden. Here's Walton. Kennedy. The outlet pass finds it on the wing to Villeneuve. Villeneuve for Spellacy, trying to get a hop there. Puck rolled on him, and Yuljanski had a chance to poke it away. Alone in front, Spitfires. That was guarded. In the slot, falling down, he directed over top of the goal. Lombardi back the other way. Onto the wing for Aspinall. Back to Fellinger, out there to watch his man is Villeneuve. That one knocked down before it gets to the goal. Here's Lombardi. Onto the wing, shot high over top of the goal. Comes around for Allen. Stick by Spellacy, snaps in two, and it's going to be Woodall by his lonesome. New stick for Spellacy. They send it towards him, and just out of his reach. He had to hold up to get that new twig to the bench. That's going to come all the way back for Fibiger. Fibiger banks it into the corner. Taken hard in there by Nesbitt. Aspinall played a lot here in the first. They're trailing 2-0. Chased by a fellow Ranger prospect, Liam Greentree. And there's another one, Jacob Battaglia. Originally a Calgary draft pick. Calgary traded Battaglia to the Rangers for a player named Brennan Hoffman, who was here with the Firebirds, was the captain in the season they played the Spitfires in that Game 7, 2022. So a lot of connections. Charlie Murata moves it back to the middle. Graziano's shot goes over top of the goal. Costanzo had to deal with the screen. Circling back to the middle is Battaglia. Overskates a penalty coming to the Spitfires. You figured the next one would come their way. And Brown gets knocked down, and there might be more here as Brown touched up, the whistle went, and Kevin He put Brown on the ice. And quickly the officials trying to separate Kevin He, and the Spitfires want a piece of him. And now it looks like they've got them separated, and it looks like it'll just be the one penalty to the Spitfires. They'll have to go to the penalty kill when the Firebirds try to get back into it, trailing 2-0. It is the OHL Tonight, your TV, brought to you by St. Clair College.
Alcoholics Anonymous. For more information, visit aa.org.
First period of hockey brought to you by Capri Pizza with 10 locations throughout Windsor, Essex. Penny more, penny less. It is Capri Pizza. I said Jonathan Brown got that penalty. It's going to be Anthony Cristoforo, but here's Brown touching up. That gets the whistle. So he touches there. All right, penalties in place. And then Kevin He just sends him flying. And that brought about a crowd. No penalties following, but you can imagine these two teams played each other 6 times throughout the year. 3-3. The road team won 2 games for each side. A West Division matchup, division rivals. So you can see this one becoming a little spicy as it goes on. Power play goes to work, and what a first round for the Firebirds. 67.9 with a man advantage in the first round. And the Spitfires no slouches either. They were 14 for 14 on penalty kills. So we'll see a couple of strengths for both sides. Aspinall sends it back, just keeps it in. Pondrakar gloves it down and keeps it in the zone. Back to Urban Pondrakar. He'll move it to the middle. Watched by Davis. Here's He. Works it down for Lombardi. Moved it back for Pondrakar. Quick shot at Battaglia, and Costanzo holds on to it. The Spitfires quickly clear the front of the net. First round power play success for the Firebirds. Battaglia, Aspinall, Lombardi, 3 goals each. Battaglia also had 6 assists, 9 power play points in the first round for Jacob Battaglia. And like we said, the Spitfires, a perfect 14 for 14, 100% with the kill, and a couple of shorties too. Greentree, Spellisy, and Davis in the first round. Like I said, a lot of storylines and similarities between these two teams. It'll be an evenly matched semifinal series. The Spitfires, with 4 left in the first, have a 2-0 lead. Pondrakar has to come all the way back. He'll skate it out to center. Battaglia on his left. Lombardi on the right. Takes that pass, poked away by Garden. Now Battaglia moves it for Pondrakar under his skate. Finds Kevin He. He dashes in. He's shot. Goes high off the mesh and out of play. 6-6 the shot clock. Spitfires ahead early in this one. Spitfires led the league with only 24.07 shots against. That was their average on the season. Only twice since the 1st of January have the Spitfires given up 30-plus shots. And it was both to this Flint Firebird team. January 24th in Flint, they gave up 30. March 7th, 34. They can lock it down, but Flint has had their number this season. Lajansky down low, below the dot for Anderson. He works it back for Kostov, the former Sioux Greyhound. Kostov for Anderson. Dishes to the middle. Back to Kostov now. 32 seconds left of the man advantage. It's Kostov all the way back to the point. Tipped in front. Anderson will sneak it out of the bar. And the Firebirds will find the back of the net. And they trail 2-1. That power play. Deadly. They're 1 for 1 on this one. Kostov just holding onto that puck, and there you see him find Anderson. What a nice little nifty tip in front by Damian Anderson. And we're back to a 1-goal game. A lot of orange jerseys in the crowd here tonight. Flint Firebirds have traveled to follow their team, about an hour-and-a-half drive from door to door. And we'll see the Firebirds get on the board at 3:08 left in the first. They'll move to take the draw, snaps it back to Brown. Brown to the red line and in, rides the dasher board. Charlie Murata, his backhand comes all the way back out to center. Brown steps up, Harvey bats it back in. Glove down, Greentree takes a couple of whacks to the back. Now Battaglia will bump it to Woljanski. So Spitfires with a couple of injuries out of the lineup here again tonight. Bexalta McKeesh, we saw a scary one just inside the blue line. A lower body injury happened in game 2 here at the WFCU Center. Ethan Belchez is yet to play in the playoffs. An upper body injury. He is week to week. Firebirds come in with Josh Colosimo with a lower body injury. He's day-to-day. Bryson Morgan, Josh Bonnyman scratched. George Komodowski and Zach Bleak back on the blue line scratches for Paul Flash and the Firebirds. Face-off at center with 2:40 to go in the first. Firebirds, after falling behind 2-0, have had some pushback. They've got the 8-6 shot advantage now. Both teams have scored on the power play. Here back in behind the net. His pass out of the reach of Anderson. He gets to it. Aspinall 2-on-2 and over the line. Out of the reach of Lombardi. Big Aspinall poked at it. It's going to go 3 rows back. Caleb Malhotra stays hot. They've got the only goal in Brantford tonight. And they're up 1-0. Let's look at Nathan Aspinall, New York Ranger draft pick, captain. We'll talk to him coming up with the first intermission. He's got to be happy with the way his team has rebounded after falling behind early. Viljanski and Kostov, the assists on the opening goal. Kostov up to 8 points in the playoffs. And Anderson's got his 5th goal. The power play marker for the Firebirds. And that's going to be a storyline. The Spitfires penalty kill against that high-powered power play for the Birds. Taken away, and Anderson back in over the line. Walks across the line, going to the far side, and that was Lombardi. He was locked and ready, and it just went under the stick. And now Greentree, another chance, can't clear, and that'll come out. Less than 2 to go in the first. Aspinall resets all the way back in his zone, and Allen now is ahead of steam and will dump it in. Costanzo out to play it. Joe rimmed it around. Davis waiting for it off his stick, held in by the Birds. Near side for Kennedy, gets out to center off the stick of Cristoforo. Can't get a handle on it, and that's going to be icing with 1:32 to go. As we said, the Firebirds with the best road record in the Western Conference. The Spitfires only lost 4 at home all season in regulation, and 2 of them were against the Firebirds. Kostov on the draw. The Spitfires go with Nesbitt deep in the zone. Walton will lift that up, and that's a penalty. And Connor Walton for a delay of game. So the Firebirds with a chance with 1:28 to pull even. As Walton couldn't keep that within the playing surface, it exits. And here come the Firebirds with their power play opportunity. Damian Figueroa didn't have a whole lot to think about. There you see Walton doesn't look too happy about it too. He looks up to the heavens. We'll see what the Spitfires can do here. Lombardi to take the draw. Spellisy for the Spitfires. Anderson scoring on the last power play to pull them to 2-1. Battaglia now in to take the draws. Lombardi kicked out. Comes back for Pondrakar. Quick shot, Aspinall right off the draw. Battaglia couldn't get it back to the front of the net. Here's Lombardi in behind the goal. Tries to fend off the check. Gets it back for Aspinall. Aspinall can dish. And he will on the power play. It'll work through him. Pondrakar back to Aspinall. He sends it far side for He. Quickly down low to Battaglia. Back up the boards for He. Winnipeg Jet prospect and hops off the stick of Pondrakar out of play. Forced back by Spellisy. And the Spitfires will get a stick on it. That's going to be an offside with 56.5 to go in the first. The power play will carry over if they're unable to score. About 32 seconds or so, 33 seconds. I'm not going to try to do math tonight. 2-1 Spitfires, and the faceoff will come all the way back in Flint territory. There's the Spitfire penalty killers. Now led by Nesbitt and Garden out there against Kostov. This is the unit for the Birds that scored. Anderson. Watched by Nesbitt. Nesbitt will poke it away and send it back for Fibiger. Takes a look up at the clock. Will take his time. And now founds a seam. Dumps it down the ice. Allen. Dumped in. Costanzo directing traffic. Fibiger can't get to it first. It's in the feet of Brady Smith, and now moved to Anderson. Smith back in behind the net. Kostov on the wing. 22 seconds left in the period. Back to Kostov. Viljanski From the dot, tipped in front again. Anderson trying to send it back in front, and it gets underneath the Costanzo. He got back to that post. And he kept it out. Could have been a dangerous opportunity there by the Firebirds. 14.2 seconds left in the period. And then you see them work it down low here, and Anderson is going to follow it up. Yeah, it almost snuck back in. It gets in between the legs of Joe Costanzo, closes him quickly and holds on. Spellacy will take the draw against Battaglia. Back to Podrakar, sends it to the far side. Here's Aspinall. Nice block there, soaks it. Jonathan Brown. 7 seconds to go. Aspinall looking for an opening. Leaves for Podrakar. Now they toss it around. Here's he. Good look. And the clock runs out. It's in the glove of Costanzo. And a good chance there late by the Firebirds. They get on the board with the power play marker. The Spits get too early. 2-1 after 20 minutes. A fast-paced first period. And the Firebirds will continue on the power play coming up here in the early part of the second period. There's Nathan Aspinall, the captain. He'll get himself together. We'll talk to him coming up next. Take a look at that out-of-town scoreboard, too. It is the OHL Tonight, your TV, brought to you by St. Clair College.
I volunteer for your TV because I do the audio board for Spits games, sometimes help in the studio, and I made new friends and helping out some of the co-ops.
Ducks Unlimited Canada works with landowners and other conservation-minded partners to improve outcomes for communities and wildlife. Supporting vital ecosystems which contribute to water quality and quantity, soil health, support agriculture and economy, mitigate severe weather events, and provide opportunities for recreational access to nature. Together, we are unlimited. Learn more about programs and partnerships at ducks.ca.
Authentic Vinvilla memorabilia, like old marketing pieces. So that's what the images, that's where they came from for those doors. And we do have the fire that comes out of both sides of them for events. It's pretty magical.
Sorry, not for sale, prop for the video. It is astonishing how many consumer goods are thrown out every day. We can live so much more sustainably if we relocate these items to new homes that need and appreciate them. This stunning red fabric armchair is a perfect example.
Actually, that's a cinnamon velvet swivel club chair.
This stunning red fabric armchair is a perfect example.
Spitfires ahead 2-1. They scored 2 early, and then the Firebirds battle back to make it 2-1. A couple power play goals, one on each side. That's where we sit after 20 minutes of play in this Western Conference semifinal, Game 1. Captain Nathan Aspinall joins us now for the Flint Firebirds. Nate, you got to appreciate how your team battled back. It looked like you got behind the 8 ball there, but a good turnaround for your team there in that first period.
Yeah, I think not our best start, but I think we battled back in the second half, and we just got to keep that going.
Both teams coming off a long layoff. You had 9 days. The Spitfires had 8. Did you feel it there after the first 20?
You know, a little bit. I think we were really fired up to get this game going, but definitely felt the legs a little bit. It's been our longest break all year, so yeah, it just took a little bit to get into it, but now we're flying. What
did you do with the break? Did you get time off? Did you get to go home, or how did that work out for you?
Yeah, I went home for 2 days for Easter, so got to see my family. It was awesome.
Obviously, that first-round series, 35 goals, a lot of conversation about the offensive firepower by the Firebirds. You knew it would be a little different coming in here this second round. How did you prepare for that change of gameplay?
Yeah, I think we just worked on our details in practice, work on a lot of the D side of the game, and yeah, it's been going well so far.
Western Conference leaders in road wins this year, the Firebirds. What works for you guys on the road?
I think we just stick to our details and come ready to play from the puck drop.
Your team making some changes, Battaglia coming over, Kevin He, a couple more pieces as the year goes on. How did you work it? And obviously, it goes down to the coaching staff, but that ice time and different players, it might get to them. But how did the room get together and kind of deal with, hey, we've got a good, strong team here with some good players coming into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think everyone knows their role. Everyone sticks to their role, and I think everyone believes in the coaches and what they're saying. So we kind of just listen to them.
Paul Flash named or nominated for Coach of the Year. What do you say about Paul?
Yeah, couldn't say more great things about him. Played with them for almost 200 games now, and I wouldn't be where I am without him.
40 minutes left in this one, a long series ahead. What do you see coming up here, and what's the goal to win this one?
Yeah, I think just keep working hard, keep playing to our system, and things will go our way.
Nathan, thanks for your time. Good luck in the playoffs.
Thanks, Chris.
Nathan Aspinall of the visiting Flint Firebirds, the captain, and his team trailing 2-1, but a good pushback from them. They lead in the shot clock after 1 period of play. It is the OHL Tonight, your TV, brought to you by St. Clair College.
The Ontario Hockey League, more than just a game.
Schaefer sprung loose and he scored!
On the ice, the OHL is the #1 provider of talent to the National Hockey League, developing the game's next stars. Off the ice, giving back matters. Since 2010, OHL teams have invested over $41 million in scholarships and raised nearly $8 million annually for charities in minor hockey, shaping futures beyond the rink. Excellence on the ice, opportunity beyond it. The Ontario Hockey League, where the journey begins.
If alcohol builds a wall around you, know this. We're here to help if you want us to. It's never too early or too late to ask for help with a drinking problem. Alcoholics Anonymous. There is a way out.
Hi, I'm Billy Grieve, a handheld camera operator that has filmed many Spitfire and Ravens football games. If you want to come and experience this, come down and join us and volunteer at your TV.
Looking back, it definitely was challenging not knowing anyone. I new to Canada, sort of learning how things worked, and also being pregnant and figuring how that all worked. But it was wonderful to connect into and accessing services where we had access to moms and play groups and structured activities and just meeting moms with kids with similar ages. Thank you to United Way and its network of support for helping us integrate as quickly as we did.
Hi, I'm Liz. And I'm Kara. We're both registered kinesiologists, and you can join us every Monday through Friday for seated and standing exercise on health and fitness on your TV.
After a night out with friends, you might find yourself at a ride check. Impaired driving is serious. It can mean losing your license, fines, a criminal record, even jail. Be a designated driver. Reduce impaired driving everywhere. Arrive alive. Drive sober.
The Cogeco OHL Player of the Week is Ben Wilmot of the Barrie Colts.
Here's Brad Gardner. Shot across, scores, and that is a dream start for the Barrie Colts.
As the Colts took care of the Niagara Ice Dogs in the opening round of the OHL Playoffs, Wilmot picked up 4 goals and 4 assists over 3 games to help propel them on to the second round. Your Cogeco OHL Player of the Week, Ben Wilmot.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Spitfire's Fight Line. I'm your host, Rick Burns, and today my guests are Joey Costanzo and Alex Farrand. Who do you bill it with? We got to shout out to the billets. Who are your billets?
Shout out John and Kathy. I've been with them for like 3 months now, and they've been amazing to me, so generous, and they've opened their house to me, and I felt at home since I've been here, for sure.
What about you?
I'm with the Keach family. I've been with them for 4 years now, and I'm glad I got to mention them because last time I was on, they gave me a bit of crap for talking too much about the dog and not too much about them. So Rob and Shelby Keach, their home's my second home now, and then shout out Bill's brother Owen and Bill's sister Zoe as well.
How good was that to sweep in 4?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it started with Joe. Like, Joe was dialing all series. And then kind of like we fed off his energy, like those big saves he was making. It kind of gave us like the boost to keep going. And at the end of the day, like I'm a true believer that you want to go into every series like trying to win every game. Like you want to have the confidence that you could sweep. You never want to like have second thoughts or anything, because that's when things can kind of not go our way. And yeah, it was great that we swept to kind of like give our bodies a rest. Some guys were a little bit beat up, and it gives us more time to recover, to do some video, do some pre-scout on Flint, and yeah, have a little bit of time to ourselves to get ready for the next series. As we know, it's a grind, so it was great to get the first one out of the way, and we got 3 more to go here, so we'll be ready for that.
Yeah. Being the goalie, more pressure come playoffs, do you think, or how can I put this? Do you thrive on it, and do you think your teammates play just a little bit tighter, a little bit better in front of you?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it's the playoffs, right? And there's always going to be that added energy and added pressure. But like you said, I try to thrive off it. I try to build off of the momentum I've had this year. And, you know, I'm very comfortable behind our defense. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think we have, you know, probably the most underrated D core in the OHL. I think our forwards are very sound in our D zone as well. And, you know, at the end of the day, when called upon, I'm just trying to make the save. At the end of the day, the ice is the same size, the puck's the same size, no matter what building I'm playing in, no matter what the stakes are. So I'm just really just trying to make the next save that I have to make.
Yeah. How big is the crowd? You feed off of that?
It's pretty special, especially at home when, you know, we have 6,000 plus in the crowd for a playoff game, or in the year, you know, whenever we play London, it always seems to be close, if not a sellout. So we definitely feed off that energy as players. You know, when we score, I'll get goosebumps when it gets loud late in the game. It's pretty surreal.
So I'll ask, what's your favorite memory? Some of your memories of being a Spitfire or Sudbury Wolf, you know, a junior player.
Well, I mean, you kind of put me on the spot here. There's a lot I could
a lot I
could go through. You know, 5 years in the league.
Sure.
It's been a wild ride.
What about teammates? Favorite teammates?
Oh boy, this guy over here has been pretty special. You know, guys like Liam Greentree, AJ Spellisy, and Anthony Cristoforo. I've played with them for 4 years now, so I've gotten really close with them. Back in my Niagara days, I was really close with guys like Juan Copeland, Declan Waddick. You know, I could name 30 guys right now.
Right.
Some of my favorite memories from this season would maybe be our win against Sioux at the end of the year to clinch the division. That was pretty special. A couple of years ago, my second year to win the division in London, beating London in the Bitweiser Gardens. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's probably 30 memories I can give you off the ice, just hanging out with the guys, being with my billet family, having my family come down here to Windsor and hanging out with them. There's so many things I could go through.
What about you?
Yeah, teammates-wise, like I said, I've only been here for a little bit with Joe, but I knew him from like U18s and U17, so he's been great to me, kind of getting me to know the guys and the city. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna forget some guys, so I don't wanna like kind of name a few. But
no, I don't blame you.
But like me and Villy's been by my side the whole way. Like we were in Sudbury together, and then we came over together. So like that's someone I've been close to my whole life. And then me and David Goyette drove to the rink every day for 3 years. So he's like another guy that I'm close to, and then yeah, there's a bunch of other guys. I don't want to forget anybody. So yeah, I'll just move on to my memories. I think for me, it's just the support that I felt in Sudbury, like from my family, the fans that came out every night. That's the stuff that I'm gonna kind of take with me and cherish, because I'm just so appreciative of everything like that city gave to me. And then going back to Hamilton, it was just kind of learning from those guys like Avery Hayes and Logan Morrison and Mark Duarte, who was like one of the best teammates of all time. Dewey was unbelievable to me. Fun story, I was getting my G2 and he drove me an hour and a half to a different town from Hamilton for me to get my license, and then drove me all the way back. So
nice.
Yeah, and I was a rookie, and he was great. But yeah, over there, like just kind of picking stuff from the vets, learning about their pro habits, and then they went on to win a championship, and then when I got traded to Sudbury, so that was great. And then flash forward to here in Windsor, I've met so many more great guys, and I got great billets. The city's great. The guys are great. So I'm really happy where I am. And to cap it off, it'd be really fun to win a championship here. So that's the end goal for sure.
Let's hope so.
The Ontario Hockey League, more than just a game.
Schaefer sprung loose and he scores!
On the ice, the OHL is the #1 provider of talent to the National Hockey League, developing the game's next stars. Off the ice, giving back matters. Since 2010, OHL teams have invested over $41 million in scholarships and raised nearly $8 million annually for charities in minor hockey, shaping futures beyond the rink. Excellence on the ice, opportunity beyond it. The Ontario Hockey League, where the journey begins.
Hey everybody, it's Greg Knipp. I'm the host of Meet the Music and Windsor Creates here on Your TV Windsor. Love being a volunteer here. I think you should come here and check it out.
Hi, I'm Ann. Tune into Low Impact Fitness on Your TV. All you need is yourself and a chair. We're going to stretch and strengthen our minds and bodies. That's Low Impact Fitness on Your TV.
Alcoholics Anonymous. We're here to help. For more information, visit aa.org and download the Meeting Guide app.
Hi, this is John Fairley, host of Face to Face right here at Your TV. Want to tell you there's a home for you. Volunteer, be a part of the community right here on Your TV.
Well, first period, the Spitfires open the scoring. A good keep in by Ethan Garden, his third goal of the playoffs. And then it was a power play goal coming from Max Brocklehurst. Sorry, Ethan Gardens was a power play. Brocklehurst scores his second. Just 3:20 later, Robinson and Games pick up the assist. That's 3 points down in the playoffs for Nathan Games, playing that roll down there in that fourth line. The Spitfires flying up 2-0. Then you see some good pushback for the Firebirds. They get their own power play goal. That power play clicking at almost 70% in the playoffs. And Damien Anderson's fifth of the playoffs. Kostov and Yoljanski with the assists there. Two other games around the Ontario Hockey League in this third weekend of the OHL playoffs. North Bay is in Brantford, trailing in the series 1-0. Brantford gets a goal from Caleb Malhotra with just 6 seconds left in the first, and then just 2 minutes in, actually not even, a minute 16 in to the second period. Merrick Van Acker has got the other one. It's 2-0 Brantford in that one. Sioux and the Kitchener Rangers, they're into the first intermission. No score so far. 10-4 the shots for the Kitchener Rangers over the Greyhounds, and both teams unsuccessful. 2 power plays each. Like we said in this one, 2-1 Spitfires. It'll be a long series, we think. WFCU Center will play host to game number 2. That happens Sunday. A 4 o'clock start time. We'll be back here before the Spitfires head to Flint for a couple of games, game 3 and 4, and then game 5, if needed, coming back next Saturday night here at the WFCU Center. Joe Costanzo, 6 shots in that first, making 5 saves. Mason Vicari down at the other end. The two of them trained together in the offseason, both from the Toronto area, both overage goaltenders. Vicari facing 6 shots from the Spitfires, making 5 saves. 9 saves, I should say, in the first for Costanzo. Well, good evening and welcome to it. It is Chris McLeod up in the booth here flying solo tonight. Nick Warner will be back with us coming up on Sunday. And the Spitfires will have some more time here on the power play for the Firebirds to kill off to start this second period. Some fresh ice, about 28 seconds to work. We'll try to even things up. Nathan Aspinall said back in the first, didn't love the way we started, but love the way we finished. I'm going to keep that up, keep working hard here. Kevin He streaks in over the line. He's on the right side, loses the handle. Spellacy moves it to the middle, and Kennedy, the veteran, will send it down the ice. Here's the last push for Wyatt Kennedy in the Ontario Hockey League. Wyatt announcing this week that he is off to the University of New Hampshire following his Spitfire Overage playoff run. Good for him for moving on. A couple of NHL camps under his belt. No smooth skater. He's been a Spitfire for about a year and a half after starting his career with the North Bay Battalion. And Battaglia up into the chest of Costanzo, rattles around, and they'll pounce and hold on. Spitfires have killed off the power play. Both teams now 1 for 2 with the man advantage. Good pace, good movement there that first. Saw a little bit of conversation after the whistle a couple times. Nothing too spicy yet so far. I'm sure that'll change as we go on, as these West Division rivals match up. Face off to the left of Costanzo now. Kostov will be shown the door. Nesbitt will stay in the dot. Smith will join him. Draw one by the Spitfires. Woodall back around. That's a long pass. Nesbitt out at center will lift it in. Cristoforo getting on his horse will force Dryden back. Comes loose here on the near wing. Cristoforo banks it back into the corner. Here's Nesbitt, side of the goal, trying to send it in off Bakari. Tied up now. It'll come along the wall. Fibiger keeps it in just for a moment. Misfires, and now he's got to backtrack. It's Brady Smith rolling puck to the middle. Kostov's in offside. Iggy Pazzo will touch, and that'll get a whistle. Minute 23 into this second period. We'll see if Chris Thibodeau is back on the bench. Thibodeau took a check, just a run-of-your-mill little bump, and Thibodeau went into the open door and got himself on the back, and he went right down the runway late in that first period. James Paul right side. Lifted in. Waiting for it, Brown backhands it up the wall. Lombardi picks it off. Back to the point, Paul. Weak shot knocked down by the Spitfires. Now Villeneuve took a high stick. Back in the first to draw 2 double minor, and Spitfires end up scoring on it. Good offensive chance there. Spellacy was streaking in on the right side. Tough line to play against. Villeneuve, Spellacy, McLaughlin, they all play hard. Don't give up on anything. Forms his third line for the Spitfires. McLaughlin back along the wall. He gets it back. Quick shot. Not a whole lot on it. Vicari out to make the stop. And they'll separate and head back to the bench. 2:06 into the second. 35 goals in that first round for the Firebirds, and only 3 allowed in a 4-game sweep of the Owen Sound attack. Everyone talking about the offense back in that first. Spitfires not too far off those numbers. They finished 21 goals for and just 5 against. Both teams had a shutout in the first round. Harvey to take the draw, the right-handed shot. Banked back into the corner. He gets a stick lifted, comes along for Battaglia. He alleys oops. There's Thibodeau back up the ice. Good to see him back. Robinson moves to his partner Kennedy, up quickly to Harvey off a skate. Right back inside the line. Kennedy. Quick snap pass up to Davis. He punches it by Ponderkar. Tries to get on his horse. Graziano finds it. Moves it along the wing. Thibodeau back to the middle. Knocked down by the Spits. Garden right back under the stick of Ponderkar and dumped into the near corner. Here's Harvey. The rookie. Caden Harvey, Beck-Sultan McKeish, and Carson Woodall played every single game for the Spitfires in the regular season. Harvey and Woodall continue that string. Beck-Sultan McKeish was injured in Game 2, and he has not returned to the series yet. That shot wide of the goal. a lower body injury. Looks like a day-to-day situation. And when it happened, we thought, ooh, that might be a season ender. Still hope that Ben Salton gets back into these playoffs. Guy Allen out to center. His pass in behind Charlie Murata. Spitfires lift it right back in. The fourth line's getting some ice time here. Murata chops at it out to center. It's Ryland Cunningham, a rookie. Cunningham trying to move it back to the middle. He does. Murata holds on, and he almost snuck one under the pad of Joe Costanzo. Good chance there by the Firebirds. Costanzo kept that left pad down and put some muscle behind it and kept it out. Let's see this as Murata just holds on. He wanted to get that puck across. But yeah, looks like it went off the skate of Woodall or off the stick. And he almost snuck one by him to tie the score at 2. Faceoff will stay deep in the zone. Tessier. Along with Murata and Battaglia, they keep this fourth line together. Cristoforo wins the draw. Greentree in over the line, a big save by Vicari. And Cunningham will circle back in behind the net. Cristoforo knocked him down, no penalty. Holds on, trying to get it to the front. Nesbitt was streaking. And it goes off a leg, and Cunningham gets it out to center. Firebirds looking to complete a change. The Spitfires got that top line on. A little mismatch there, but they finally complete it. And now Woodall chased in behind the net by Lombardi. Stripped of the puck. Lombardi moves it back to the middle. A diving stop. Cristoforo, what a stick. He has got one of the best. Taking away Nesbitt. Fibiger jumps up into the play. Spitfires trying to work it down the wall. It's held in. And now Fellinger, he'll get a lane and he'll exit. To Aspinall, bump it back. Allen on the backhand gets it to the line and in. Here's Lombardi. He controls. Woodall keeps him outside. Goes for a skate back to the top of the zone, and Woodall broke it up. Trying to jump up and take off offensively. He'll head to the bench, get a change in here. Long change. You get it. In the second, you take it. And now Fibiger will head to the bench as Walton will carry the mail up to the red line and in. Pondrakar can't clear. Jumping out is McLaughlin. He'll move it back to the middle. Graziano got in front of it. Pass in behind Kostov. Spitfires get back on side. Here's Villeneuve. Looking for some playoff success after coming over from the Sudbury Wolves. Held in by McLaughlin. His first OHL playoff. Line of the net. Villeneuve quickly towards the net. Off his stick and out of play. 14:22 to go in this second. Holding on to that 2-1 lead. Spitfires got them both back in the first period. Christopher Thibodeau went down to that first period. We've seen him. He's back on the ice now. He's actually heading to the face-off dot. See that replay. Grimaced everybody. The corner of the door as it opened on a check. Everybody bumped and bruised as the playoffs go on. Both these teams enjoying a long rest after a first-round sweep. Spitfires 8 days off. The Firebirds with 9. And I know the Spitfires gave their players some time to head home for Easter, a couple days anyway. And it looks like, as Aspinall explained back in that first intermission, so did the Firebirds. Check by Davis in on the forecheck now, and the Firebirds will get it out. Taken away by Brown, right back to Garden. Garden takes a bump from Battaglia. It's underneath him, followed up by Davis, giving Battaglia the bump right back. Here's Walton. Thibodeau chops at it. Walton holds it in. Comes off the wall and taken away by Pondrakar. Talk about Pondrakar. He will play a ton of minutes for Paul Flash. Sent towards the goal. He's stick knocked away. Brocklehurst. He's got the go-ahead goal so far in this one. Back up the ice. Brocklehurst on a lone man rush. His line mate's changing. Takes a hit from Giljanski, and he controls down in the corner. Games in there trying to dig it loose. Fourth line shift for the Spitfires. Battaglia, right now that's Cunningham. He's got to wait for Murata to get back on side. And now Robinson, rink wide, right on the tape of Games. Nathan Games in over the line. He sends it towards the goal, tipped away. Wiljanski back up the wing. Some fourth line matchups here. They're going to get in offside. The Firebirds offside. Nathan Games trying to get something started. They'll separate. 2-1 the Spitfires. All the scoring in the first. We'll take a timeout here in the second. OHL Tonight, your TV, brought to you by St. Clair College. Fourth head coach in the history of the Windsor Spitfires is Greg Walters. Wally, along with Paul Flash, head coach of the Flint Firebirds, Dave Cameron of the Ottawa 67s, Dylan Smoskowitz of the Barrie Colts, a first-year coach, Jussi Ahokas, who was the 2025 winner, all up for the Matt Layden Trophy as OHL Coach of the Year, and a trophy, not that Jussi isn't deserving in Kitchener, he's certainly a heck of a coach, but Greg wasn't even in the conversation last season. Rightfully so this year, leading the Spitfires with a ton of injuries down the stretch to the first spot in the West Division and second overall in the conference. Greentree trying to get away. Gets to it. His shot wide of the net. Out-hustled Fellinger back to the front, hopping over the stick of Nesbitt, and now taken away. It's Anderson for Lombardi. Lombardi's a real good center, signed by the LA Kings. Over 70 points this year. Bounced out to center, Cristoforo. Third amongst defensemen in scoring this season, which is a little misnomer. He ended up playing most of the second half of the season as a winger up here on the top line. Over 20 goals for Anthony. His fourth year in the Ontario Hockey League. But still listed as a defenseman. He'll take it. High stick by Fellinger. It's going to be touched up by Kennedy here. And the whistle goes, and quickly the referee Damian Figueres says, hold on here, it's an icing actually, so it was a high stick, but it went the length of the ice. Both teams kind of confused exactly what the call was, but they'll settle out who's staying on the ice. Firebirds aren't allowed to change, so we'll get that settled. The Spitfires will get a swap of personnel. 11:51 to go in the second. Head-to-head this year, Jimmy Lombardi had 5 points to lead the Firebirds. Liam Greentree had 8 in just 4 games against. Vicari played 5 of the 6. Joe Costanzo played all 6 head-to-head. Key moves it to the middle. Poked away from Villeneuve. He's going to find it. He stays there with the pressure. And he'll come away with it. Dangerous winger. Back to the point for Podrakar. Hard rim around. Comes all the way back for Kevin He. He's feeling it in the shift. Graziano right back down to the corner. Chopped out there by Woodall. It's Battaglia. 6 points in the opening game of that first round series. 15 overall. Kostov right down the gut. Woodall lets him walk around. That goes to the net. And Costanzo reaching back to get the stick on it and break it up. Pass in behind McLaughlin. Joe just now getting that stick back into the blue paint. Had some help from Nathan Villeneuve. As that puck's deep in the corner. Long pass. Kevin He back on the offense. A lone man rush here waiting for some help. Kostov now joins him. Taken away by Harvey. He's looking for help, cuts across the line. Harvey, watched by Paul, dropped off there for Garden. Spitfires stay with it, off the side of the goal. They can't tuck it home. Villeneuve to Harvey, and he couldn't put it into the back of the nets. Looked like that play was over, and then Villeneuve busted up the middle. Off the bench, Davis backhanded it in. Vicari waits. 12-9, the shots in favor of the Firebirds. Back in front, loose there. Vicari down, spreads out, holds on. Broken play, ended up back in the blue paint. And Mason Vicari and some friendly fire had to keep it out. Let's look how that one broke down here. Harvey with the pressure, that comes in front of the net. Battaglia wanted a lead there for Vicari, some miscommunication, and Davis almost punched it in the back. Here's a look at Spitfire rookie Caden Harvey, end of the season, 34 points. And there's someone on the opposite end, Mason Vicari, in his final OHL playoff run as an Overager. Started with Kingston, traded in the offseason to the Birds. That puck goes off the glass and then finds its way into the Spitfire penalty box. It'll stay deep in the zone. Two-1 Spitfires. Goals from Ethan Garden, Max Brocklehurst in the first, and then Damian Anderson. The only goal for the Firebirds came on a power play. Nesbitt with Greentree cocked and ready and behind him. Tessier takes the draw for the visitors, and he wins it. Brown gets it up the wing, just one-handed in by Cristoforo. Paul on it quickly, moves it around. Charlie Murata waits for it. He'll get it out. And then a check finish by Connor Walton, and an icing as it goes the length of the ice. So the Firebirds will have to stick with this fourth line. I guess Jacob Battaglia is out there, but Murata and Tessier against the Spitfires' top unit. You see the and Burnett dropped the puck. Nesbitt and Tessier. Tessier won the last draw deep in the zone. This time moved to the wall by the Spitfires. Cristoforo backhands it back in. Nesbitt battling for position. Fibiger comes down from the point, and he'll steal the puck, move it along for Greentree. Greentree trying to sweep it out front. Taken away, and Battaglia will lift it out. Battaglia and Greentree, both now Rangers property. Liam was a LA Kings draft pick, traded along with some draft picks for Artemi Panarin from LA to the Rangers, and then you got Battaglia moved for former Firebird Brendan Othman at the trade deadline. This face-off's going to be deep in Spitfire territory with 9:18. We're over halfway through this one. Kind of settled into a little bit of a slower pace and a battle for ice for each side. There's 5 shots through the first half of the period. 12-9 in favor now of the Firebirds. Out of the wing, Greentree has to wait for it. Trying to get a shot off. He does, a weak one. Vicari got the pad down. Cristoforo back to Greentree. Tied up there by Allen. Centering, Nesbitt's in the slot. Goes off a stick and taken away. It's Anderson. It's got Aspinall on the wing. Lombardi follows up, carries it in over the line. Here's Lombardi. He weaves at the top, takes a bump, moves it back in behind the goal. Kennedy off the body and will bat it out to center with the glove. Touched up by Podrakar, now Lombardi. Here's Aspinall, right side, trying to stay out there from Robinson. He's a big body to deal with. Robinson does a good job of controlling him there. Now Captain Greentree, the alley-oop. Harvey trying to skate into it. Just didn't have the timing down. Aspinall's onside, finds Lombardi. Drop pass for Podrakar. Harvey watches him. Back across the front. That's Thibodeau waiting, trying to dance around. He does in front of the net. Loose puck there. They poke away at it. Costanzo's got it underneath of him. And then a crowd gathers. Kennedy and Aspinall tangled up. Davis in there too. And Costanzo has got the puck at the side of the goal. It was Lombardi poking away at it. They almost snuck one in behind Joe Costanzo. You see Thibodeau, he had a lot of time. Sends it in front. That puck comes loose dangerously there, and it's Lombardi trying just to pitchfork it in, and Robinson will tie him up and hold him down. Pat Myers right there. Referee from Pancor, Ontario, right on top of the play. Waves it off. Pat Myers, a 14-year OHL official. One of the best. Justin Noble is going to get a fresh puck here. Didn't like that one. And they'll reset. 8:08 to go. Spelisi against Battaglia. Draw one back. They try to get the shot off the face-off. Brown's without a stick. They'll move out there to help clean up. Move it inside the line. Spitfires bat it right back. It's Villeneuve. He's onside, and he's got some skating room. Here's Villeneuve. Villeneuve looking for the shot. Good work there by Graziano to get the stick in the lane, and that ramps up and out of play. Dangerous chance for Villeneuve diving in. .7:49 left in the second. Villeneuve gains that line, and Spelisi driving the net. Gives him a lane, dodges Battaglia, and there you see that outstretched stick by Graziano, the defenseman, and just ramps right up. Villeneuve thought he should have done better with that. He'll take the draw now. Into the corner, and that's going to be a redraw here. Burnett says, nope, didn't like it, we'll do it again. Second put back on the clock. Spelisi will return to the dots. His wingers, Villeneuve and McLaughlin. Nathan will move into that shooting position in behind Battaglia for the Firebirds. Battaglia, good job, will win it straight back. Spelisi chasing it down. Him and he, two of the fastest wingers in the Ontario Hockey League. And that door, it's been a while, but that was a pretty consistent, hit it just right, and it hops open. Spelisi trying to get to it. Kevin Heen, like I said, two of the faster players in the league. And whoop, there goes the door. Could have been a situation like we saw Thibodeau. Spitfires backhand loose in front. Vicari got the left pad down to make the save on Spelisi. He sent to the ice by Walton. Held in by Paul, moves it across the line. Miljanski holds on, holding, and now in behind, it's Costanzo. He thought he had it. It's loose in behind the goal. Spelisi with some room. AJ's bank pass to McLaughlin. Trying to get in after it. Loses an edge. Miljanski cleans it up. Now Miljanski will dump it in. Onto the goal. Lead there by Costanzo. Firebirds completed change. The Spitfires got some ice to clear, and it's Jonathan Brown. He dives it over the line. Gets it in deep. Pondercar there in the back. Swings it around the far side, waiting for it is Smith. One touch to Costa, but it's out of the zone. Thank you, Pazzo. Dumped it right back in, and now batted around for the Spitfires. Fibiger below the dots. 6.5 to go in the second. Spits up 2-1. Each team with a power play goal. All the scoring back in the first 20 minutes. Brocklehurst back in over the line, and Graziano puts them right back down. Back up on it is Brocklehurst going to the net. Brocklehurst has got the game winner so far, and he's going to head off to the bench. Woodall keeps it in. There's Carson from the dot. Left there. Shot gloved away by goaltender Vicari. Woodall holding on. Second amongst defensemen in scoring in the regular season. Trying to send it at the front of the net. Gets it right back. Now Woodall, quick shot blockered away. And that gets up and out of play by Vicari. 2-1 Spitfires. We'll get a scrape in here. Your final timeout of the second period. It is the OHL Tonight, your TV. Brought to you by St. Clair College.
Have an event coming up? Need help spreading the word? Reach your community through Your TV. Promote your nonprofit event for free on TV and online. Visit yourtv.tv for details. Your TV, truly local.
Second period of hockey brought to you by Capri Pizza. With 10 locations throughout Windsor, Essex. Penny more, penny less. It is Capri Pizza. Here's a look at Johnny McLaughlin, Spitfire rookie. 4 points in the playoffs, 3 goals and an assist, 2 of them in Game 3. 1 goal in the big blowout in Game 4. Johnny's certainly his type of hockey here in the playoffs. 5,100 plus in attendance. On Sunday, for game number 2, they're asking you to wear white. They want a white out here at the WFCU Center. Pink, hey, it fits tonight. If you're coming on Sunday, wear white. That shot from Kennedy off another stick and out of play. 5:39 to go in this second period. And they'll reset the faceoff this time to the left of Mason Vicari. Spitfires have closed the gap on the shot clock. It's 13-12 now, led by the Firebirds. Vicari's made 11 saves. Costanzo 12. Christopher lines up for the shot. Greentree in front. Nesbitt on the draw against Lombardi. Greentree right off the draw, and just a good work there by Allen to get a stick in and slow down the shot. Lombardi is without his stick now. Spitfire's trying to take advantage, and they will get it out, and he'll be able to get a new twig. As Allen will skate it in and lift it into the corner. Costanzo moves it around the wall, waiting for Christopher. He lifts it off the body of Fellinger, a Maple Leaf draft pick. Back into Spitfire territory, it's Robinson. The outlet for Greentree. Liam running into Allen at the line. Can't go much further. Anderson turns it back in. Here's Lombardi. Now back across the goal, and a glove save by Costanzo as that was rattling around through the slot, and Joey on his knees will hold on. 5:02 to go in the second. You see Anderson. This Lombardi pass back goes off a stick. Right there. That could have been dangerous. Joe stays with it. Another face-off. This one with Alex Kostov. Quinnipiac bound next season for Alex Kostov. Former third-rounder by the Sioux Greyhounds. Here's Garden back up onto the wing. Banked in. Harvey trying to get in on the forecheck on Paul. Paul will one-handed up the wall. Spitz keep it in. Quick, hard shot. Vicari. Rebound there. Hops over the stick of Harvey and sent back in front. Nobody home. Vicari trying to get back to his skates as the puck comes back the other way. He onto the wing. Out of the reach of Battaglia. Brown moves it along. Waiting for it. Spitfires. Kostov to the front. Off the skate of Brown, and he'll exit. High and in. Paul back on it. Davis watches him. Loose behind the net. That's Harvey. Tied up Yuljanski. Spitfires hold it in the zone. That's Davis in tight quarters. We'll just get it into the far corner. And they chip it by the D. That'll be an icing, and the Spitfires will have a face-off deep in the offensive zone. Flint unable to change. 4:01 to go. Kostov made a pit stop at the bench, so get a quick bit of strategy from head coach Paul Flash. And you see the crowd in attendance tonight. It's always the way it works in the playoffs. It kind of starts slow, but builds up. We saw game 2, a packed house here in that first round against Guelph. And now game 1 tonight, 5,200, and then we'll see game 2 on Sunday afternoon. And if needed, game 5 will be back here next Saturday. Villeneuve in on the draw against Battaglia. One straight back, a little too well. It's right by Fibiger. McLaughlin knifes it into the zone. Spellacy trying to get on it. Here's Yuljanski. His outlet pass, a little too hot to handle. Gets by He, and that's an icing. And another face-off will come back. 3:43 left. Here's Kevin He, the Winnipeg draft pick, the former Niagara Ice Dog captain. A moved just prior to the deadline for the Firebirds, adding some firepower up front. Ask Nathan Aspinall about that. Sometimes you pick up players like Jacob Battaglia, Kevin He, players that have been playing big minutes on their previous teams. And they come in and everybody's time on ice goes down slightly. He says, yeah, in the room, we talked about it. It's the formula for a winning team. You all got to kind of know your role and play it, and they certainly do here in Flint. And a heck of a first round offensively they had against Owen Sound. Nothing to sneeze at defensively either, only allowing 3 goals in that series. Spellacy setting things up, sends Johnny McLaughlin in on the forecheck. Villeneuve and Spellacy wait at center ice, and now they swap, and Jajanski takes his time and completes that change as Cunningham gets in over the line. Kennedy trying to tie up his man, comes loose down below the goal line, working it over Thibodeau. Penalty coming to Spellacy as he wrapped him up. Allen across the top, tries to sift one down towards Thibodeau. Extra attacker is on. Thibodeau moves it back towards the goal, rips one wide. Spitfires will touch finally. McLaughlin diving, and it's going to be a holding call against Spellacy and a power play with 2:46 to go in the second with the Firebirds looking to even it up. So you see Spellacy just gets his arm around Thibodeau. He'll haul him down, so the Spitfires not only going to the penalty kill, but without one of their top penalty killers with A.J. Spellacy in the penalty box. This will be the third opportunity for the Birds. 1 for 2 so far. The Anderson goal back in the first, coming with a man advantage. Nesbitt to start it off for the Spitfires. Battaglia, Lombardi, Aspinall, He, and Pondrakar. That dangerous power play connecting at about just under 70% through 4 games and 2 periods so far for the Firebirds in the playoffs. Aspinall carried it over the line, and he goes towards net. Big Nathan Aspinall tries to put it between the legs of Costanzo, closes the door, and the Spitfires will send it down the ice. Pondrakar quickly back for Aspinall. Aspinall weaves in onto the wing. Battaglia back to the point. Aspinall will dish. Over 60 assists this season. Gets to the line. It stays right on the line. That stays onside. Costanzo out trying to help. He has to dive back to the blue paint. Aspinall to Pondrakar. Onto the wing for He. Greentree watches up top. Pondrakar has a look. Onto the wing for He. He's shot. It's loose. Lombardi down. A broken stick. Where is it? And it's somewhere in that scrum. And it looks like it's up in the pants of Connor Walton. Everyone looking around, and Walton pulls it out of his pant leg. There's a broken stick there. It looks like the Spitfires were down a man on top of already being shorthanded. That shot rattled around, and he'll take that whistle. 54 seconds left in the penalty, minute 40 left in the period. The faceoff stays deep. Second unit on now. Thibodeau takes the faceoff. Spitfires can't clear. Here's Jajanski for Kostov. He had the assist on the only goal. Kostov working up top onto the wing for Jajanski. Allen is cocked and ready, and there's a shot towards the net, knocked down, but right back to the Birds. Firebirds hold on. Here's Allen. Just gets to it before the Spitfires closed in, and now they'll send it down the ice. Rolling puck out to play it as Vicari. Nesbitt and Garden hustling to get that change in. And the Spitfires able to get one defenseman on Robinson. Kostov at center, back onto the wing. That gets up into the Firebirds bench, and they'll blow it dead right there with 11 seconds left in the Spellacy penalty. Faceoff will be on the dot right in front of the Flint bench. Or will it? They're going to say it's back to center. That puck didn't make it into the bench. It went off the linesman. So they're going to say we'll take the faceoff at center here. Call it even. Davis and Greentree out for the Spitfires. Walton and Kennedy. Lombardi Anderson, Aspinall, Pondrakar, and Fellinger. Miscommunication there as Aspinall had to go off the stick. Davis stays in on the forecheck. A.J. Spellacy out of the box. Anderson's backhand out to center. The Spitfires break it up. Here's Greentree. Greentree jumps around his man. Vicari thought about moving it and then saw the pressure, and he'll hold on. 30.4 left on the clock. And they scrum in front of the net. Spellacy's tied up with Fellinger. Not a whole lot coming out of it. Come back to me in about 3 games. We'll see. We've seen, the conversations, the precursor to what's going to come here in this playoff series. Both these teams have been off for a while. I'm sure you'll see some of the spiciness get into it. First period, good pace. Kind of a clunky second so far. No scoring. Nesbitt trying to center, goes off a stick. Waiting forward at center is Kennedy. Right back in. Here's Nesbitt. Fellinger, that long reach, takes it away. Now Lombardi. Nice circle up on the wing. Anderson waiting. Cristoforo goes down. Fans wanted a penalty. I think it deserved one, but that was almost a chance back the other way as he was in behind the defense and then gives Vicari a little chop. They'll get that face-off back in the zone. 3.9 left. Anthony thought maybe there was going to be a penalty called. He was late returning to the play and then almost got away with a breakaway just out of his reach as he headed back up ice. We'll see what kind of play the Spitfires have here. 3.9 left. Nesbitt, Greentree lined up in behind him. Cristoforo goes wide, as does Carson Woodall in the front of the net. Fibiger lined up to the right. Trying to win it back to Greentree, crashed the net. Moves it back to Fibiger. Quick shot wide of the goal. And now Lombardi. And that'll do it for the second period. No scoring in the second frame, as the teams take some time to separate, but they will. And we're going to talk to Johnny McLaughlin coming up here in this second intermission. It's the Spitfires 2, the Firebirds 1 on the OHL Tonight, your TV, brought to you by St. Clair College.
Trust is a two-way street in both the driver and passenger seats. You might drive someone home safe home or make a call. Pull out your phone. It could be a neighbor or a friend, someone on whom you can depend. It might be your fam or a cab in a jam. But no matter where you're going to sit, always have a plan for it. Choose your ride. Arrive alive. Supported by Desjardins Insurance.
Please enjoy 30 seconds of nature, brought to you by Ducks Unlimited Canada. Learn how you can experience nature in your community at ducks.ca.
It was just another day at your local home improvement store. Or was it? At Habitat Restore, a delivery truck means one thing: donations. Overstocked inventory, vintage furniture, unique finds. You'll find something different every day.
Tetris race here in the second intermission at the WFCU Center. 2-1 Spitfires over the Flint Firebirds. All that scoring came back in that first period. Johnny McLaughlin joins us here in this second intermission. Johnny, how are you feeling things here so far? You had 8 days off. What's the feeling like going into the third period?
Yeah, for sure. I think we can clean some stuff up, and a great atmosphere here in the WFC Center. Fans really came out, but it's just a big third.
8 days off for the Windsor Spitfires. We heard from the Firebirds. They got to go home for Easter. I understand the Spitfires, you guys got to do the same thing?
Yeah, for sure. I had a bunch of time just going home to Corona, Ontario, seeing my all my family, grandparents, so it was a good reset, but
Here we go into this second round. We saw what Flint did in the first round against Owens Sound. You guys did a very good job against the Guelph Storm, too. You match up very well, your West Division rivals. How do you see this playing out? What was the focus on in practice this week?
Yeah, obviously Flint had a great first round and scored a ton of goals, so just matching what they do best and trying to defend it and just, manage pucks and,
Johnny, how you feeling your game's coming along? Obviously a rookie in the league, and you didn't play a lot last year. We knew that coming in. But here in the playoffs, this seems like your style of hockey.
Yeah, I know for sure. I love this type of hockey, and it's really fun in my opinion. This is the best part of the year, so
It's got to be a big confidence builder when you're playing third line. You got some wingers like Villeneuve and Spellacy, and you're being counted on by the coaching staff, not just get out there and fill ice time, but actually be productive.
Yeah, for sure. Having some offensive input is definitely a lot of motivation. But I can't talk good enough about Villy and Spelly. I've learned so much from them, and I continue to learn. So they've been great.
A lot of storylines in this series, and one of them is the coaching staffs. You've got Paul Flash, who was nominated for Coach of the Year, but your coach, Greg Walters, also nominated for Coach of the Year. What can you tell us about playing for Greg Walters?
Yeah, he's the best coach in the league. He's great. He teaches so much. He teaches us the right way to play hockey, and I just love his intensity, and he's another guy who's really built for playoff hockey.
2-1 is the score. You've got 20 more minutes to bring this one home in a Game 1 victory, which will go a long way. What do you need to do here in this third period to bring home the victory?
Yeah, knowing where we've got the lead, but not holding back. Managing pucks against these guys. These guys are really good off the rush, so we've got to manage pucks and, stick to our system. And obviously, Joe, he's had a great playoff, but, first 2 periods he's been unbelievable, so, trusting him, but,
Johnny Mack, stay hot. Thanks for your time tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Johnny McLaughlin, rookie for the Windsor Spitfires, 4 points through the first round of the playoffs, 3 of them goals. He had both goals in the Game 3 victory for the Spitfires. They'll need some help here. They've got a 2-1 lead. More to come in this third period. We'll look at your out-of-town scoreboard and more coming up on the OHL Tonight, your TV, brought to you by St. Clair College.
At Habitat Restore, each visit is a new adventure full of possibilities. 5 volunteers from Winnipeg, Manitoba opened the very first store in 1991. Since then, it's attracted individuals, businesses, donors, and volunteers who are all passionate about making a difference in their community. Because all Habitat Restore proceeds are used to build Habitat for Humanity homes in the local community.
Hi, my name is Kieran Fay. If you are interested or would like to learn more about how TV productions work, I highly recommend volunteering with us.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. At the tone, please record your message.
Hey buddy, I'm just making my way home now. I picked up some takeout. Not too many cars out, so I should be back soon. I know how much you like soggy egg rolls. I also stopped by George's place. Knows you're taking up baseball this summer, so he got you some stuff. We'll break that glove in this weekend. What do you say? He might have gotten you something else too. I guess you'll have to wait till I'm back. Love you, buddy. I'll be home soon.
Watch your TV on the go. Cogeco customers can now enjoy local programming online. Simply log into your Cogeco account on cogeco.ca. Click on Your TV and start streaming. Your TV is truly local, exclusively on Cogeco.
Maybe you've heard that the only people who shop at Habitat Restore are contractors. But actually, many of our customers are homeowners or renters, DIY enthusiasts, treasure hunters, or anyone looking for that great deal on a unique find.
Hi, everyone. I'm Terry Doyle. Welcome to this week's edition of the OHL Roundtable here on the OHL Tonight with Tim Cunningham. Tim, round one is in the books. Before we get to round two, let's take a quick look back at the opening round of the OHL playoffs. We saw 5 out of the 8 series were sweeps, and I think a little indicative of the fact that in both conferences, we had 3 teams that were really head and shoulders above the rest of the teams within their conference. And for the most part, those are the teams that dominated in that opening round.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a lot of separation between 1 through 4, 6 through 8 in both conferences, but there were still some series that didn't go as long as I thought. I thought the 4-5 series in both conferences would go 7 games, and they didn't. Some of the others, not surprised at all. The one big surprise to me was just how non-competitive Owen Sound was with Flint, and I think that shows you there might be a story in behind that series, because that was I can't recall a series being that one-sided.
Yeah, people had asked me, is Flint that good, or is Owen Sound just playing that poorly? And I think you've got some of column A and some of column B from that standpoint. But you're right, we maybe expected those 4-5s to go a little longer. I thought London would maybe give the Sioux another game and maybe make that a 6-game series, for example. Now, you talk about, we thought Peterborough North Bay would go 7. Well, it went 6 plus a period and a bit. So I guess it kind of almost went 7 with the double overtime game to wrap up the series. So certainly a very competitive series. And we thought that series would get a little nasty, and it did. Mike McIver, the goaltender, got thrown out on a match penalty situation. So we saw a little bit of everything. But I guess, Tim, the big key right now is, for the most part, going into round 2, everybody's fresh.
Yeah, North Bay is going to get some rest. That game 6 was something else, and that's a loss that's going to sting for the Petes for a while. But you bring up Mike McIver getting a 2-game suspension, and then Jack Lisson comes in, and really they don't skip a beat. Very similar to when Mike McIver took over from Dom DiVincentis a couple of years ago in the playoffs, when DiVincentis went down with an injury and took them through to a conference final. So great story in North Bay, and as I said, for the Petes, they're not going to get over that one in a hurry.
Certainly a rough loss there for the Peterborough Petes, but a big win there for the North Bay Battalion. So let's look ahead to round 2, and let's start right there. The North Bay Battalion now take on the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference through most of the season, the Brantford Bulldogs. The Bulldogs, of course, a team that have been heavily favored right back to October, you might say, in the Ontario Hockey League. But this is a North Bay team that's right there in the thick of things. And I think it's going to be a case where the Battalion want to play, once again, that stingy kind of style and not let the Bulldogs be a run-and-gun hockey club.
Well, I agree. I think, North Bay has always been a very defensive team, but I just think that Brantford has too much for them. And I expect Brantford to go through this series in 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where we know the Bulldogs are heavily favored. It's going to be a case where a Jack Lisson might have to steal another game, or McIver coming back in has to try and steal a game. But the Bulldogs, they have goaltending, they have defense, they have forwards. It's certainly going to be an uphill climb. There's a reason why Brantford is the number 1 seed. Let's flip over to the Western Conference now. And the number 1 seed there, of course, the Kitchener Rangers taking on the Sioux Greyhounds. This could be a very interesting series, a lot of distance, and an interesting situation from the scheduling. Of course, the first 2 games this weekend in Kitchener. Then next week, in Tuesday, Thursday, they go up to the Sioux. And so they're Thursday in the Sioux, and then game 5, if necessary, right back in Kitchener the next night. That's a lot of miles to put on a bus and or a jet plane. So it's going to be interesting to see how they both teams handle that quick turnaround from a game 4 to game 5. But Carter George in goal for the Sioux Greyhounds, a very strong Kitchener club all season, could make for quite a battle here.
It could, and this is going to be a great series. And the Sioux really, I watched pretty much all that series between they and the London Knights, and boy, the Sioux really dominated London, and I think they're going to be great with Kitchener. I think this is going to be a long series, and this could go 7 games.
Speaking of battles, I'm expecting the Barrie Colts and the Ottawa 67s in that 2-3 battle, that no matter who comes through this series, there are going to be some ice bags, some bruises involved in that. I think some bitter feelings will come out of this, as of course they see each other through the regular season in the Eastern Conference, and it's a very strong Barrie Colts team and a very strong Ottawa 67s team. Both clubs, of course, strong goaltenders. Ryder Fedorov, certainly one of the top goaltenders, if not the top goalie in the Ontario Hockey League all season long. And Tim, if this is a short series, I will be shocked.
Me too. These are two very heavy teams. And the one thing that Ottawa showed me in the series with Kingston is just how heavy they are. And they can score in waves, and their scoring is so balanced. They don't depend on their top six forwards. Their entire team contribute. And as you said, Ryder Fedorov really wasn't tested a whole lot in the series against Kingston, so he's going to be well rested. But then you're playing a Barrie team that really plays with an edge, and they've got Kashawn Aitchison, and he is a man playing with boys. So I expect this. I don't want to jinx this series, but I expect this to be an all-time classic.
Yeah, I say, as you said, I would be shocked if this is a short series. I think both clubs can certainly are very capable of winning this series, and I think it's a case just both teams playing strong, heavy hockey, but play on that edge, but watch going over it. We saw Aitchison get suspended at the end of the regular season for going over the fight threshold, missed the first two games of the Niagara series, and that's where if somebody ends up suspended out of either team, that could be a turning point in the series. So both coaches want to have their full lineups available throughout the series. The 2-3 over in the Western Conference is a West Division matchup. The Flint Firebirds, who walked all over the Owen Sound Attack, and the Windsor Spitfires, who got through the Guelph Storm pretty handily. So two teams that are well rested, not a whole lot of bumps and bruises out of the opening round. And I think it's a case, do we see that Flint offense keep going, or is that deep Windsor Spitfires club and their offense able to get the edge in this one?
Well, again, I think like Barrie and Ottawa, this is going to be a long series, and these are two evenly matched teams. And Flint really didn't have Owen Sound didn't put up much against Flint, and Windsor had great success in the first round. Again, this is a series that I think is going to go 7 games, and I'll give it to Windsor since they have home ice advantage.
Mason McCarry in goal for the Flint Firebirds. Joey Costanzo in goal for the Windsor Spitfires. The top goalie, it's easy to say, but the top goalie in the series leads their team to win the series. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Roundtable. For Tim Cunningham, I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks for joining us. Third period action coming up next on the OHL tonight.
I started coming here when I was like 7. There was a program in the park, so I asked one of the staff if I could join in. No, I came to every program since. The camps, after-school programs, homework club. These programs have taught me to just be me. Thanks to the United Way, I am able to reach my full potential.
YourTV.tv is our online home. Find videos, our broadcast schedule, community events, and how you can get involved in your local channel. Visit YourTV.tv. We are truly local.
We are looking for good neighbors in our very own backyard. On Plugged In, we celebrate wonderful people doing great things in our community all the time. Now we're creating a Good Neighbor Award. You can check out more information on YourTV.tv, and winners will receive some prizes and a certificate of recognition.
The Ontario Hockey League, more than just a game.
Schaefer sprung loose and he scored!
On the ice, the OHL is the #1 provider of talent to the National Hockey League, developing the game's next stars. Off the ice, giving back matters. Since 2010, OHL teams have invested over $41 million in scholarships and raised nearly $8 million annually for charities in minor hockey, shaping futures beyond the rink. Excellence on the ice, opportunity beyond it. The Ontario Hockey League, where the journey begins.
Alcoholics Anonymous. For more information, visit aa.org.
Hi, I'm Adrian McConnell. I volunteer for Your TV because I do the audio board for Spitz games, sometimes help in the studio, and I made new friends and helping out some of the co-ops.
That's all you got going on the second period. No real grade A scoring chances for either side. Spitfires outshooting the Firebirds 7-4 in the second period. They lead the game 2-1. Both teams are successful on a power play. 1 for 2 for the Spitfires, 1 for 3 for the visiting Flint Firebirds. 1 of 3 games in the Ontario Hockey League tonight. Semifinal series are underway. North Bay and Brantford playing in their second game of the series. Brantford is ahead 4-1 in that one. The only goal for the battalion, Adrian Manso, the former Windsor Spitfire, has got them on the board. They're midway through the third period. Hayden Ellis has got both goals for the Kitchener Rangers. They're out shooting the Sioux Greyhounds by a shot clock of 23-14. 0 for 3 and 0 for 2, respectively, Kitchener and Sioux on the power play tonight. This is the other one, 2-1 Spitfires. It'll be game 2 coming up on Sunday. Nick Warner joins me back in the booth. A 4 o'clock start time. They're asking fans to wear white for that game and looking for a whiteout for the Spitfires in game 2. And hopefully, for Spitfire fans, they're hoping they can be ahead 1-0 heading into that one. But you know Flint was going to come out pushing hard here in this third period. Spitfires jumped on them early. They had a 2-0 lead, just 6:19 into the game. A couple of goals, Ethan Garden and Max Brocklehurst. And the Spitfires were in flight, but the Firebirds kind of settled in. Both teams out 9-8 days each after wrapping up sweeps in the first round. So it took a while to get their legs underneath of them. They did, and they've kind of settled in both sides here into a back-and-forth, low-chance affair. But you know the Firebirds will be pushing hard, hoping this second-round series with a victory. And obviously the Spitfires want to do the same thing. That first game, a chance to get up ahead and get in control. And here we go. The final 20. Regulation anyway. Heads up, Joe Costanzo. I don't know if he saw that coming back to him, as it was one straight back. He was still in the midst of his stretch and just poked it into the corner. Liam Greentree off the dasher board and in. Just a form down to the corner. Fellinger for the Birds. Off a couple of legs, finally finds its way to Anderson. It's Lombardi through center, off his stick. Aspinall will find it. Forehand, wrap it in. Greentree's all the way back, deep, right on the stick of Lombardi, who sends it back out the far side. Here's Aspinall up high. His rising shot, seeing eye right through a crowd, goes off the end boards and around. Anderson trying to get to the front of the net. Here's Lombardi, poked away by Robinson. And now the puck comes loose and will finally slide in that fresh ice all the way out to center. Aspinall will stay in control until Cristoforo's right stick gets involved. Off the boards and not too far in. Both teams having difficulty controlling here early in the third. Aspinall almost snuck one by Costanzo. Spitfires bank one out to center and sent down on the ice is the Firebirds, and they're batting each other away in front of the benches in the midst of a change. James Paul got knocked down by John McLaughlin, and it looks like Paul went right back at him, and they're both going to go. So watch this change here at the top of your screen. There's James Paul sent down by Johnny McLaughlin, and then boom, right there, Yoljanski gives Johnny McLaughlin a seat. Just talked to Johnny back in the second intermission. He said, this is my kind of hockey. He loves it. Tangled up, can't get back to his feet. Yoljanski will deliver. The puck was nowhere near. And I think that's what Liam Greentree is arguing right now. He's saying Johnny had a check on the play. Yoljanski's puck was nowhere close. Both captains, both New York Ranger prospects, and doesn't look like Liam's going to agree with either Damien or Pat. The referees explaining it to the captain. Looks like Yoljanski's getting the extra 2, though. So it is a 5-on-4 Spitfire power play. The first since the first period. So Flint's got the door open. They're waiting for an extra body to get in there. It's a minute 19 in. This would go a long way here in the Spitfires game 1 as Ryland Cunningham comes across to serve the penalty. Spitfire power play. First goal of the night was an Ethan Garden power play marker. Spitfires were in flight, 2:59 in. He hustled back to the blue line to keep a puck alive and came back down the right wing side and snuck one up under the bar. Fibiger into the corner. Cristoforo with Woodall down low. That puck squirts loose, and it's going to be Kevin He. He had a shorthanded goal in the first round. He left side, you can see. Good offensive player, and he's got some wheels, too. That's dangerous on the penalty kill. Snaps a pass back to Kostov. Almost a little too hot to handle. And the Spitfires have finally gained control, and here comes Greentree. Poked away at center by Kostov. We saw that in a game back here a month or two ago. Kostov poking a Spitfire entry away, and he went in shorthanded, tied the score, and shortly thereafter the Firebirds grabbed the go-ahead goal to beat the Spitfires on home ice. Shot in from distance. Nesbitt couldn't get a stick on it. Now He back up ice again. Kostov goes for a change. He looks back, no help. Sends one high, forehead high. Gloved by Costanzo, leaves there. Net left in the power play. Spitfires looking to gain the zone. Here comes Nesbitt. Drops off, nobody home. It'll find Greentree. Hooked from behind. And Liam tries to get it back to the point, taken away by Lombardi. Good work on the back check from Kevin He. Here's Lombardi with Graziano, the defenseman, up there, and they will exit and send it for Thibodeau. He comes in with a head of steam, and he whips one wide of the net. Good kill here so far by the Firebirds. Not giving the Spitfires any chance to get anything set up. Second unit comes on for Rand. Got to be careful. Thibodeau got a stick on it. Now he's got to come back and play some defense. Thibodeau out of the corner, tries to walk to the net, chips one towards Costanzo, and he says, I'm done with that. I will hold on and get a whistle with 14 seconds left on the Spitfires power play that has not looked good here to start the third. Anderson out to take the draw. Aspinall lines up behind him. Harvey for the Spitfires. Still 14 seconds left in the power play, but the Firebirds win it. And Aspinall will clear the zone and reset and wait for Ryland Cunningham to rejoin the play, and they'll go back to 5-on-5. Spitfires unsuccessful on their third power play opportunity. Kennedy off his skate, back towards the goal. Spitfires having trouble getting control in their zone. And now Robinson back for Kennedy. 3.5 minutes into the third. Spits by one. Davis chipping a chase, trying to get body on Fellinger. Battaglia rubs him out. Stick up high, and Davis, now they go back at each other. Davis is going to drop the mitts. Start chucking knuckles with Battaglia. Here they go in the corner. Like a piston. He's got a couple in on the right. Battaglia gets loose, and now they'll wrestle and not go down yet. More of a middleweight fight. Down goes Battaglia. And some spicy hockey here in the third. Well, it all started. It looks like Battaglia might have got a stick up on Davis. He didn't like it. Chucked the mitts, and they went back at it. Both sides getting a kick out of this one. So look at that right there. Davis chucks the mitts, and then they start going at it. Battaglia's game. Looks like they both landed a shot or two. We go back here, so watch this. Here comes Davis. That's Battaglia. Gives him a rub out. And then gets the right there. Got the glove up. That's Davis didn't like that. And that's what started it all. There goes the mitts. So Damian Figueroa and Pat Myers, the referees tonight, still working it out. Looks like an extra 2 on the board for Davis. We'll get the instigator. Is that what they're going to do? So it is a power play for the Firebirds. Davis now will cross the ice, get some stick taps from his teammates. The fans stand and applaud veteran Cole Davis, who heads down the cutway. The freshly redesigned and painted cutway. Look at that. Spitfire red. Firebirds go to the power play. Back to Podrakar. Quickly Spellacy out to force him. Podrakar dishes to Kevin Hugh. Does a good job of keeping it outside. Up along the wall. Comes loose for Podrakar. He tries to get one through. Anderson, good stick in front. And then Lombardi follows up the rebound, and Joe's shoulder goes hard into that post and knocks it off. 19 seconds into the man advantage. Lots of time left here in the third. 15:56. We saw 16 shots in the first. And since then, we've had 15 total between these two teams. Like we said, they kind of settled in the second. Low chance affair so far. Which is much different than what that first round series was for the Firebirds. 35 goals through 4 games, the most since 1999 in the Ontario Hockey League. Only gave up 3 in that first round. Here's Aspinall on the side of it. Backdoor for Heat, trying to slip one through. Costanzo comes across to make the save. Kennedy gets the body position, but now slung to the far side. It's Aspinall. Quickly, Garden gets to him, back to Lombardi. And Garden gets a stick on it, it bounces out. Aspinall trying to slide it rink wide, went off his stick. 10-minute misconduct for the instigating going to Cole Davis. Here's Lombardi. He's going to walk down the middle off to the wing for Aspinall. Push it across is Joe Costanzo to keep it out. Joe has been good, and he continues here in the third. You see Lombardi get by Nesbitt and then find Aspinall off to the side. He didn't waste any time. Joe Costanzo sliding right to left makes the save. Here's Allen. Higgy Pawsey back to the point. Now it's Graziano. Watched by Cristoforo. They work it down. Now back to Graziano. Quick shot. Kostov rising high. Diving. Gets it out. Is Anthony Cristoforo. All the way back now. Allen has to reset. He'll head up ice onto the wing for Thibodeau. Off the wall. Gets it back. Back in behind the net. Waiting for it is Graziano. Played 3 of the 4 games in the first round. That rolls loose. Garden chops at it. Down the ice. With 10 seconds remaining in the Davis extra 2. Also erased Jacob Battaglia. He'll serve his 5 minutes. Spitfires will take that trade off. So it goes in for Mason Vicari. Spitfires kill it off. Now 17 for 18 in the playoffs. In front, Spellacy couldn't get the shot off. Loose again, and Podrakar banks it out. Spellacy off his stick, can't keep it in. Sent all the way back into the zone for Carson Woodall. He settles that puck down, and now trying to get a pass up to Nathan Games. He didn't touch, that'll be an icing. And we'll get a timeout here. 2-1 Spitfires in the third period. There's the horn. We'll take our timeout now. It is the OHL Tonight, Your TV, brought to you by St. Clair College.
Van Villa memorabilia, like old marketing pieces. So that's what the images, that's where they came from for those doors. And we do have the fire that comes out of both sides of them for events. It's pretty magical.
Well, we said it to start the third. You knew the Firebirds would come out pushing. They've had a power play. They've directed 6 shots here in about the first 6 minutes on Joe Costanzo. And Joey has made 19 saves so far. The Windsor Spitfire all-time wins leader, all-time starts leader. Joey's playing in his 19th OHL playoff game. And they'll need to ride him for any success they have here in the playoffs. Spitfires 2-1 lead, 13:42 to go. Anderson and Kennedy into the corner. Aspinall plays it off the wall, works it back down for Anderson. Kennedy doesn't give him any room. There's Lombardi getting away from Villeneuve to the front of the net. He can't stuff it home. Off the outside of the goal, the Spitfires will skate it out to center. Here comes Harvey onto the wing. Trying to get it back. Harvey now. He'll chop at it. Villeneuve in behind the nets. And Podrakar eating up minutes out to Aspinall. Glorious chance there by Lombardi to tie it. Left there. Punched in by Graziano. Makes a couple of moves. Here he comes. Down low trying to center. Spitfires there. And they'll break it up and get it out to center. Connor Walton, the noted puck rusher. He said tongue-in-cheek. Got it in deep, and Connor goes all the way back to the bench to get a change in. Kostov, rolling puck. Doesn't get much further. Nesbitt trying to jump around his man. Knocked away. It's Kostov again. Greentree gets it out of the wing. Cristoforo trying to work it back. Here's Nesbitt. Back down low for Cristoforo. Greentree trying to get body on Fellinger. Work loose, Nesbitt from distance. Vicari saw that all the way. Just his second shot faced here in this third period. 12:27 to go. Let's watch this puck come to Lombardi as he shakes Villeneuve, and he drives right to the front of the net. There you see, he almost stuffed it home. I don't even know if Joe got a piece of that or not. Let's take a look at this again. No, just some good work by Caden Harvey. Give him his flowers. As he battled in front of the net. Missed it on the first try, but got the stick lifted by Lombardi just enough to force him to shoot it wide. 12:27 to go in the third. Spits by one. Garden and he now to take the draw to the right of Vicari. Snap back and all the way back into the zone. Rolling and hustling is Woodall. Garden waits at center, comes all the way along. He'll send it in, Vicari out to play it. Mason Vicari, only his 11th OHL playoff game, all previous prior to this season with the Kingston Frontenacs. And Woodall hustles to make that an icing. Here's a look at Kevin He. Finished 14th in the Ontario Hockey League with 77 points on the season. He had 5 short-handed goals. We talked about that back at the Spitfire power play. He's a heck of an offensive player. He's quick, good stick. Certainly dangerous when you got a little extra ice out there. And again, another icing as 8 minutes is ticked off now here in the third. And the Spitfires will head back for an offensive face-off with that top unit of Nesbitt, Greentree, Cristoforo, Woodall, Fibiger, Kostov, He, and Thibodeau for the Firebirds. Vicari in the net. Throwing back to Paul, and he'll get it out to center. Chipped right back in. Juljanski back on it. He sends it up the middle for He, trying to get some separation with Woodall. Woodall stays with him. Steers him outside. He's waiting for some help as in their midst of a line change to the middle of the ice. Fellinger jumped up to try to make it a odd man rush. Here comes Greentree trying to battle by his man, Allen, who's had his number all night. Back to the points. They move it around. Here's Greentree waiting in behind the goal. Liam can't get it in front. And now He. Rink wide for Kostov. He'll wait. Sends it across the ice. Glove down forehead high by Greentree. And then just flutters one into Cristoforo. They're in offside. 11:09 to go. Go Spits go, rising up for the 5100 plus here at the WFCU Center. We hope to see you here on Sunday in person, and if not, here on your TV. Game 2 for the Spitfires. Games 3 and 4 at the Dork Financial Center, and Flint, Game 5 if needed, back here Saturday night. Then I believe Tuesday, the following Tuesday, would be Game 7, which the only other time these two teams have played in the playoffs was back in 2022. Went to the OHL final, a full 7-gamer. If you remember, Flint had a 3-2 series lead. It went into overtime. Nathan Parrott scored in Flint to push it back to a Game 7 here at the WFCU Center. And it ended up a victory for the Spitfires, and Daniel D'Amico with the hat trick in that last one pushed the Spitfires to the OHL final that year. They went 7 games. Wyatt Johnston was on that team. Will Cooley. A lot of fun. And we see him again here for the second time. I wouldn't be surprised if we go 7 again. Spellacy trying to break away. Rolling puck, has to slow up for it. Gains control, moves it in behind for Villeneuve, gets by him. Here's McLaughlin. Back to the point for Kennedy. Waiting for it, Anderson. Comes out to center, it's Lombardi. Lombardi stops, surveys, trying to get it back across. Smith was charging the net. And now just to the line and out, Smith will bat it back for Jansky. Back into the zone, it's Kennedy. Gets by Brown, waiting for it is Villeneuve. Nathan will toss one out to center. Iggy Pazzo, the former North Bay Battalion, dishes off to Smith. Loose in front. And that rattled around there as Costanzo lost sight of it. And he'll hold on. A little more dangerous than they wanted there. 9:55 to go left here in the third. Villeneuve just shuttle one out to center. And the Firebirds turned it around quickly with an offensive opportunity. Watch this here as Pazzi gains the line and then just underneath the stick. And that quick shot from Smith. Trying to caught Costanzo off guard. It came loose. Quickly spotted it and held on. Tessier will take the draw. And Garden will scrum it. Spitfires get to it and they'll lift it out just over the line. Miljanski dumps it right back in. Bouncing puck for Robinson. Knocked down by Tessier. Moran chops at it. Can't clear. Back into the corner. And that's a penalty coming up against the Firebirds. Chop the stick. Brady Smith right out of the hands of Andrew Robinson. And 9:34 to go. The Spitfires looking to open up the lead. 2-1. Spitfires 1 for 3 on the man advantage. See, Robinson was reaching for it. Smith chopped at it, waiting no time. Where's the referee? Arm straight up in the air. So face off deep in the offensive zone. Keep an eye. Kevin He is out here, shorthanded, along with Lombardi. Two very good penalty killers. The Spitfires open the scoring. Ethan Garden's goal on the power play. Nesbitt kicked out of the draw. Greentree will take it, along with Cristoforo, Fibiger and Woodall. Bellinger and Podrakar for the Firebirds. Back to the point, Fibiger. Off a stick. Getting to it first is Cristoforo. He just spun it back to the middle. Nobody home for the Spitfires. Power play earlier here in the third. Unsuccessful. Didn't look good for the Spitfires. We'll see if they've got things straightened out. It's Cristoforo back to Woodall. He'll toss it back for Greentree. Trying to get away from Lombardi. On the wing. Podrakar ripped it around. Cristoforo keeps it in, but not for long as he sends it right back out. 34 seconds quickly off on the power play. And the Firebirds change their killers with Kostov and Aspinall now hitting the ice. Spitfires stay with their top unit. Falling. Fibiger gets it in for Greentree, and they're in offside. Didn't hear much of a whistle there, but it was blown with minute 12 left in the man advantage. The second unit on for the Spitfires. 8:46 to go in the third. Fibiger looking up. Well, he might have had a good chance there. Lost an edge. Aspinall will take the draw. Kostov on the wing. Fellinger and Allen. Kostov jumps around his man. They didn't like that face-off. Firebirds liked it. They were off to the races. They'll reset the clock and they'll do it again. Here's Robinson. Spellacy trying to move it back to the middle. Here's Aspinall. Out to the wing. It's Kostov. He's got a bit of a step. He gets shut down there by Robinson. Now he'll just hold on. In front was Aspinall. Sneaking in there as the Spitfires had all eyes on the puck. Now Aspinall in behind the goal. The Spitfires loose to the front of the goal. It's Robinson to clean it up. I said the Spitfires on their power play just not looking good here in this third. Now, here they come. Robinson drops back. There's a shot for Kari. Maybe had a little too much time. 4-on-1 for the Spitfires, and they get a weak shot off. They were having a tough time in the zone, and then here comes Robinson. The trailer is Garden. Going to the net is Ferrand. And Robinson just ran out of time here. And Garden fires it at Macari. Yeah, that puck wasn't where Garden wanted it. Not in the perfect spot, so the Spitfires will try it again here. 34 seconds left. It's Fibiger. Walks it across the line. Back to Fibiger. Top of the circle. Sends it in on goal. Tipped there by Nesbitt. Goes into the corner. Key gathers it up. Trying to work it to Lombardi, and he does, and they'll clear. Less than 8 to go in this one. Costanzo out to play it. 15 seconds left in the Brady Smith penalty for slashing. And it's Fibiger to circle and exit the zone. Jakob Fibiger dumps it in. Podrakar on the forehand, chops it along. He helps it along. Knocked down Cristoforo. Here's Greentree. Drop back. Greentree out of his reach. Penalty's over. Smith back on. Spitfires now 1 for 4 with the man advantage. And there's Smith out of the box. He's got He in a 2-on-1. He drops for Podrakar. In front, they score. The Firebirds come back with 7:21 to go to tie it. Fresh off a penalty kill. Everyone touched it on that one, and the Firebirds have come all the way back from being down 2-0. And Brady Smith, fresh out of the box, takes the feed from Urban Podrakar, and they have tied it up. First goal since way back in the first period. Well, we knew it would be tight. We got 7:21 left in regulation. In game number 1, third playoff goal for Brady Smith. And we're even now at 2-2. Goal coming on the 22nd shot by the Firebirds. Not a whole lot Joe Costanzo could do. It was a 2-on-1, which turned into a 3-on-1. And Brady Smith, after sweating it out for 2 minutes in the penalty box, comes darting out and pots his third of the playoffs. Well, here we go. Like a little drama to open up the semifinal, right? Kennedy moves it along for Spellacy. Here's Villeneuve through center. Nathan Villeneuve tries to get it towards the goal. Knocked down, it's Garden. Just to try to catch up with it. Rolling puck. And Villeneuve skates it all the way back to the line and dumps it right back in. Here comes Spellacy trying to get to it. Aspinall too. AJ poking away at it. It's loose for Garden. Garden back to Walton. Spellacy gets body on Iljanski. Cycles it back down low for Villeneuve. That's what this line can do. Walton gathers it up at the line. He's got nothing to shoot at. We'll dump it back into the corner. Villeneuve hooked and down. Aspinall will put the Spitfires right back to the power play. And no time whatsoever. And a hooking call here. So Walton had nothing to look at. He just rims it around. Look at Aspinall and Villeneuve here at the bottom of your screen. Right there. Gets him. The referee, Pat Myers, arm right to the air. And the Spitfires, which the last 2 power plays have not looked good, they're going to start with this second unit here. Spitfires came off of a power play. Smith came out of the box and tied up the score. So we'll see if we get something going here for the Spits fans. Tied at 2. Held in by Robinson. Trying to keep it alive. He does. And now Villeneuve peels it off the wall. Here's Spellacy with a head of steam. Oh, and he misfires. Sent back in front of the net. Ferran trying to sneak one by Vicari. And now Robinson diving in. Lombardi will bank it out to center. Villeneuve's got to wait for them to get back on side. Aspinall's hooking penalty. Robinson for Spellacy will play it off the wall. AJ cuts it back to the middle, loses the handle. Villeneuve has to wait again. And he'll just rim it in, but no bodies going to the puck. Vicari's got some time. Held in, far side, Robinson. Off the backhand of Greentree, he hops over the wall. Lombardi rimmed around and high and out. Well, Costanzo comes way out as the Spitfires complete a change, and he's going to leave there for Fibiger. 1 minute left to the man advantage. 5:25 left in regulation. Tied at 2. Game 1, the Western Conference semifinal. Puck gone to the wing. Cristoforo. That's close. Yes, it is offside. I thought so. Maybe the quietest whistle in the league. Justin Noble will sit down. And the faceoff will come back outside the line. That was tipped at the line and kind of false started a bunch of the Spitfires jumping in. Nesbitt and he. Carson Woodall resets back in his zone. Spitfires open the scoring. They were up 2-0, and the Firebirds have come all the way back with 2. Tied here in the third. Nesbitt rimmed around, waiting for it, Cristoforo. He circles around in behind the net to the front of the goal, and he scores! Jack Nesbitt, back of the net. A power play goal with less than 5 to play. Watch this, Anthony Cristoforo will play the wraparound, and Jack Nesbitt finds a little cushion right there. A little snipe on the PP, and the Spitfires go back ahead 3-2. Coming just over 2.5 minutes after the Firebirds had tied it up. Give Jack Nesbitt his 3rd of the playoffs. Anthony Cristoforo picks up his 4th assist. And what do the Firebirds have in the tank here to push it in the final 5? You know they're going to give it their all. Well-rested teams coming off of first-round sweeps. Here comes Allen. Back for Fellinger. He leaves for Aspinall, who took the penalty. The Spitfires now 2 for 5 with the man advantage. Across the front of the net, waiting for it is Anderson. Lombardi back in behind the goal. Front of the net, Anderson chopped at it. Fibiger picks up the other assist. Now back towards net, Anderson. Just directed, looking for some help there. It's going to be McLaughlin. Sends it back to the near corner. Here's Spellacy. Aspinall all over the back of Walton. Maybe one of the few Spitfires who can see him eye to eye. McLaughlin trying to center. It's Harvey chasing it to the near wall. Harvey bumped by Allen. And less than 4 to go now. Ferran turns and fires, and that one had sneaky eyes. Battaglia back on the ice after his fight with Cole Davis took him out for the majority here of this 3rd period. Spitfires chop at it. Battaglia now trying to move it up. Needs the OHL playoff scoring. Onto the wing, Ferran. Alex Ferran can't get much on it. Back to the point, Jonathan Brown. Brown's shot doesn't get through. Here's Villeneuve just turning, firing. Vicari will hold on. 3:15 to go in this one. Spitfires with a 3-2 lead. It is the OHL Tonight, your TV, brought to you by St. Clair College.
gets it going, and it's John Tavares behind the net. Coming out in front. John Tavares! They finally got lightning in the bottle.
Third period of hockey brought to you by Capri Pizza with 10 locations throughout Windsor, Essex. Penny more, penny less. It is Capri Pizza. And the Spitfires have taken the lead with Jack Nesbitt's goal. Face-off will be left of Mason Vicari. .3:14 left in the game. We'll keep an eye on Vicari. Jacob Battaglia against Jack Nesbitt, who's got the go-ahead goal in this one. Power play goal here in the third. Both teams have scored. Spitfires allowed Flint to get back into it. Got one back on themselves. Draw one by the Spits. Greentree trying to get one through. Woodall back at the point. Looking for traffic in front. He's got it. Vicari steered it to the corner. Here's Nesbitt. Back for Woodall. Woodall's going to walk down the wall. He gives him a whack. Woodall across the front of the net. Cristoforo crashing. Carson stays deep. Gets hit hard by He, and that gets the puck out. Battaglia, not much on it, but he's going to get it back. 3 and over the line. Jacob Battaglia dishes to He. Gets it back. Stop Costanzo. Big save by Joey. Battaglia in front. Another stop. Goes high over top of the net. Turning, firing He. A shooting gallery. The Firebirds turn it on the offense, and Greentree will get it out and poke it into the zone. 2:27 to go. Vicari still in the net. Joey, chance go up here. Thibodeau into the corner. Spitfires looking to tighten up. Aspinall back in behind the goal line. All the way back out to the point. Graziano, here's Pondrakar. Pondrakar just keeps it in, rims it around. Vicari leaves. Extra attacker is on. Puck towards the front of the net. Down there by Harvey. Harvey's going to get it out. Spitfires find it. Garden moves it ahead. Spellacy trying to drive by his man. Sends it towards the net off a leg. Spitfires can't punch it in the open cage. Harvey back low for Spellacy. Minute 43 left in this one. He falls, taken away by the Firebirds. And they'll come out to center. Rolling puck, finding it is Anderson onto the wing. Spitfires can't get it away. Aspinall trying to get the body position on Walton. That's still empty, and it'll stay empty here. Harvey finds a little outlet, but can't clear. Now they will. Allen at center will send it right back in. Joe can't get out there fast enough. Does slow it up. Spitfires find it. They'll lift it out to center, and that should have enough. They're going to wave it off. The perfect wait by Wyatt Kennedy. Turning, sending it off a leg. Greentree wide of the net. Nesbitt. He's got 2 on his back. Sends it across the front of the net. Comes all the way out for Greentree. Towards the front of the net. Nesbitt. Quick shot, scores. Empty netter, and the Spitfires up by 2. The Jack attack late in the third. Jack Nesbitt on the open cage. He's got 4 in the playoffs, 2 in the third period. Iljanski just clearing the deck. Get out of the way. 4-2 Spitfires. Liam Greentree will pick up an assist on the empty netter as Vicari back to the cage with 46.6 left in the game. I'm telling you, the Spitfires came out. You saw Flint grab a gear in the first. And a pretty high-paced first period for both sides. The second was kind of a clunker. And then here in the third, we've seen some good hockey. Firebirds not done yet. 27 seconds. Battaglia weaves out to center. And now Ferrand, he's got a lane to that. Alex Ferrand misfires. That comes out to center back for Robinson. He looks up at the clock as it ticks down. And the Spitfire fans will take you home in game one. What a start in this one. That was a fun one. The Spitfires will take a 4-2 victory in game one of the Western Conference semifinal. And a 1-0 lead in this one. Joe Costanzo, 22 saves on the night. Jack Nesbitt, a couple of goals in that third period. Michael and Joe, do your thing here, boys. And the goalie celebration wraps this one up. The Spitfires will look up to the rafters. They'll unroll the 5th W for the playoffs. As they look up, bring it out. The fans cheering them on. And here comes win number 5 of the 2026 OHL Playoffs. There it is. Spitfires, a 1-0 lead in the Western Conference semifinal. Back to wrap it up, your 3 stars, out-of-town scoreboard and more. It is the OHL Tonight on your TV. Brought to you by St. Clair College.
If alcohol builds a wall around you, that doesn't let you see where you're going, that keeps you feeling isolated and alone,